less than 10 seconds. Have a great day, everyone. See you tomorrow.
Here we go at 1 o'clock on this Thursday afternoon. Thanks so much for joining us for Fox 5 News Live. I'm Tyler Fingert. I'll be joining you for the next hour for this news conversation. We have a lot to get to, but just a reminder, we are live streaming on all of our social media channels, including Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. And you can always find us for free on our Fox Local app 24/7. Let's get to some of the headlines that we're following right now in our Fox 5 newsroom. I want to talk about the spree of violence that we saw overnight in Atlanta, where Atlanta police were stuck investigating multiple shootings in the city. We're going to start here. Police tell us 2 sisters were shot following a large fight in an apartment complex parking lot. It happened at Harmony Plaza on Myrtle Drive Southwest. A short time later, investigators were called to a home on Venetian Drive where they detained 3 people in connection with the shooting and a 4th person for an outstanding warrant. It's a story that we followed all morning long, along with this next case, which was also another spat of violence that we saw in our city overnight. Several hours before that happened, Atlanta officers were called to Joseph E. Boone Boulevard in Northwest Atlanta, where a woman says she was robbed and her car got shot up with her young child inside. Police say she met a man there to buy a puppy when another man snatched the dog and ran away. Investigators say that's when the seller of the dog got upset and shot into her car, took her purse, and drove off in a white Nissan Altima. The woman and child were not hurt, thankfully, there. And Atlanta police are searching for the person who they say shot a woman during an attempted armed robbery in Northwest Atlanta. Officers were called to this Shell gas station. You're looking at video from the scene. Our crew going out there to be able to give you these pictures. This all happened near Donald Lee Hollowell Parkway shortly before 10 Wednesday night. Investigators say the victim had been shot several blocks away on Lindsay Street during what appears to have been an armed robbery or attempted armed robbery. Police say the woman managed to make her way to the gas station before calling for help. She was transported to the hospital and is expected to survive. No arrests have been announced as detectives work to identify the person responsible. And it wasn't just the city of Atlanta that saw some crime overnight. I want to take you now to DeKalb County. A man is recovering after an early morning shooting there. Police say officers were called to Rainbow Way in Decatur around 5:30 Thursday morning after reports of gunfire. When officers arrived, they found a man suffering from a gunshot wound, and he was taken to the hospital for treatment. Investigators have not released information about the victim's condition or what may have led to the shooting, but as you might imagine, that is obviously under investigation. No arrests have been announced, and police have not identified a suspect. You can see all the crime scene tape there. DeKalb County police vehicles all around as they're now investigating that shooting. As you can see, a very busy news night in the Atlanta area, and now it's going to be a busy news day as well. We have a team of reporters scattered throughout the entire Atlanta metro area working for you this afternoon. And I want to check in with our managing editor, Cal Calloway. He's standing by at our assignment desk. He's been in contact with our reporters today. Cal, what are we working on, and what can people see if they join us throughout the next several hours here on Fox Local?
Tyler, good afternoon. Let's start in Fayette County, south of Atlanta. That's where the sheriff's office has arrested a contractor who's accused of ripping off several customers. You're seeing a picture of that individual right now. We have that picture because this is not the first time we've reported on him. Earlier this year, we reported that a Coweta County grand jury had indicted the operator on multiple felony charges in what investigators are calling a massive home improvement fraud scheme. Specifically, he's accused of taking thousands of dollars from customers. In one case, he took $17,000 from a local couple for projects such as garages or home additions, but he never broke ground, according to the charges and the indictment. After our original story has aired, investigators have continued to investigate, and more alleged victims have come forward. That's led to these new charges, again, out of Fayette County. Fox 5's Doug Evans, who covers that area so well for us, will have that story tonight. Now let's go to DeKalb County, where a group of residents are speaking out about a proposed liquor store. This liquor store, if it was to be built, would be built off Wesley Chapel Road. The protesters aren't exactly upset with the concept of liquor store. They just say there are too many of them already there. The owner of that facility is going through the zoning process with DeKalb County to try to get approval. These residents hope to stop that effort in the process. Fox 5's Eric Perry is on that story. And in Atlanta, there's a big cleanup effort that's going to get underway in 2 days on Saturday, and that's ahead of the FIFA World Cup. This is a grassroots effort where volunteers will be organized by a local organization. They plan to go on Saturday and clean up these neighborhoods, about half a dozen neighborhoods close to Atlanta Stadium, where obviously the matches will be taking place. Hard to believe, in less than 2 weeks. Fox 5's Dieter Dukes will be talking to that organizer today. So those are stories you'll hear this afternoon on Fox 5 News at 4, 5, and 6. And of course, you'll hear from those reporters on Fox Local at 2 and 3 o'clock. Tyler, back to you.
Yeah, certainly a lot of interesting stories. Cal, thank you for the update on those, all the things we're working on. I do appreciate it, and we'll check back in with you if there's any breaking news that happens. Thanks, Cal. As we come back into our newsroom now, let's give you a live look outside if we can over Midtown and downtown Atlanta. Look how beautiful that is. It is going to be very hard for anyone to complain about today. I mean, we're looking at somewhere around the low 80s today, and this is a live shot from Midtown and downtown Atlanta. I don't think I see a cloud in the sky there, at least from our camera we're looking at there. It honestly looks like someone painted a picture. You put it up on the wall. I mean, after what we were seeing just in the last about 10 days or so, we were seeing all of that rain. We've now dried out. So I want to check in with Fox 5 Storm Team meteorologist Lauren Robinson, who is obviously tracking the forecast for us. Let's see what she has to say about what we can expect for the days ahead and our weekend. Lauren?
We have a beautiful day in store. Yesterday, a tad bit chilly as we maxed out in the 70s, but today we're going to make it into the lower to middle 80s, which is closer to seasonal for this time of year. We have a look at our live Viper radar, and this big H that's sitting across North Georgia, that's high pressure. And what that means is we're going to see sunny, dry conditions prevail, and they're going to stick around over the next few days. That's the good news there. Now, as we take a look at the rest of the day today, we're going to continue to be sunny. We're actually going to be pretty dry out there. Our relative humidity isn't looking too bad. We're going to stay in the 70s through around lunchtime or so, and then after lunch we finally start to climb into the lower to middle 80s for our afternoon highs around 4 or 5 o'clock, and then we're back in the 70s by dinner time. Now, as we take a look at what's in store over the next few days, this high pressure continues to remain dominant across North Georgia. What that means for us is we go through our Friday, we continue to see a lot of sunshine, and the same goes for our Saturday. A great couple of days for those outdoor activities. We move into Sunday, though, and this front moves its way closer to North Georgia. We're not expecting anything too widespread on Sunday, but we are looking for some hit or miss, those brief showers, maybe a pop-up storm that we're used to this time of year. That returns to our forecast on Sunday. Now, as we're speaking about showers, our latest drought monitor was released today. It's released every Thursday, but stops collecting data on Tuesday so that they can have a couple of days to compile everything. But the good news is this exceptional level of drought, that's going to be our highest level, has basically been eradicated from the state with all of that rain that we've gotten. You can see just a little tiny piece in far south central Georgia. The rest of the state has seen improvements as well. So that same goes for us here in North Georgia, where we did have a good amount of this extreme level. The red, that has gotten smaller. So really what we're monitoring is severe and moderate levels of drought, which are levels 2 and 3 out of 5. So our drought conditions have continued to get better and better. And what's really noteworthy is going to be severe and extreme levels. Both of these have decreased by nearly half. So we've had big drops in the severe and extreme level, and then our exceptional level almost completely out of the state. So that is great news with all of the rain that we've gotten. And with the rainfall, we're going to backtrack a little bit for our drought monitor over the next few days, but we get to enjoy some sunny, dry conditions. We deserve it after all of the rain we sat through. Now, we're going to have those temperatures in the lower to middle 80s today, tomorrow, and then again on Saturday. But as we push into next week, that's when we start to see the weather change again. By Sunday, we're looking for maybe a brief pop-up shower here and there. You'll spend most of the day dry, but you do want to watch for a pop-up storm. Those temperatures in the middle 80s, right around where we should be this time of year. As we move into the next work week, we'll see those shower and storm chances increase by Monday and Tuesday, and those temperatures will fall just a tad into the lower 80s.
Lauren, thanks so much. So if you've looked at a calendar, you can probably see that we're in June already. It's June 4th, and June marks the beginning of hurricane season. And so for communities in western North Carolina, it's a painful reminder of the devastation from Hurricane Helene 2 years ago. It's been nearly 2 years since then. We know Asheville, North Carolina was hit very hard. Some families are still trying to find solid ground after losing everything. I remember the images from there, absolutely traumatizing. Our Chelsea Torres is live in Asheville, North Carolina for us this afternoon. And Chelsea, how are people feeling with hurricane season already underway?
Yeah, Tyler, I mean, you kind of hit the nail on the head there. A lot of people here have told me that they're still traumatized. And although we're still about 4 hours or so from the nearest coastline, just from this exact spot, the way Helene has really changed how people think about hurricane season.
Nearly 2 years later,
we still have nightmares, flashbacks.
For sisters Jackie and Cynthia, the nightmare began in Fairview when Helene tore their brand new home to pieces.
It was like the house was being bombed. That bedroom just ripped apart.
Miles downstream, rushing water swept the sisters away into a pile of debris.
All you could hear is giant trees snapping, glass breaking, cars going by.
Volunteers found them 2 days later. Now with only a shed-turned temporary home and no insulation, any amount of rain is haunting.
We just kind of freak out a little bit because we don't know if we're going to have a house in a minute or two.
But they aren't the only ones on edge.
I think for a long time, folks maybe felt that we were immune to some of these concerns. But if we look in history, we're not.
Around here, the lessons learned from Helene now make the start of hurricane season more than a lingering thought. Buncombe County has approved funding to buy an old business building and turn it into their first standalone emergency operations center.
It's really important to have dedicated space because, you unfortunately you don't know when a disaster is going to strike and the scope of it.
It could be years before it's fully operational. Meanwhile, the sisters and many others are still trying to recover and rebuild, even as this new hurricane season arrives.
We're all still playing catch up, and figuring it out. But there are so many people still in campers, still in temporary housing, still in sheds.
Isn't she good? You're so...
Now the county's Emergency Operations Center will plan to have 911 and other emergency services under the same roof. As for Jackie and Cynthia, they're hoping to raise enough money to rebuild, but tell me they definitely do not want to be on the same property again. Tyler?
Chelsea, I mean, it's a beautiful shot there in Asheville, North Carolina right now behind you. I mean, a beautiful day. We know how quickly things can change. Thankfully, we have no tropical systems on the outlook for the Atlantic basin. At least that's what our meteorologists are telling us. Is there something that strikes you when you walk around in Asheville 2 years later, nearly?
Yeah, I mean, a couple of things, right? If you're walking around just in downtown Asheville, you may not see too much of anything, really. I mean, there wasn't any flooding here in the downtown area. But when you kind of get out to the River Arts District, get out to neighborhoods, that's when you'll see people still rebuilding. You'll see construction signs. You'll see people outside working. Some businesses may not have reopened yet. I think something that really stood out to me, though, is that yesterday I was kind of walking around and, we work for Fox Weather as well. And I was wearing one of the shirts when I was doing my interviews, and people kept coming up to me because they were afraid that it's supposed to rain this weekend. And they tell me every single time that it starts to rain, people are a little weary and, again, traumatized. One woman said PTSD is real, and I think that's how a lot of people here are feeling, at least the ones that definitely went through Helene. Tyler?
Yeah, Chelsea, you gave me chills when you said that, because for a lot of us, if it rains, it just rains. I mean, a couple weeks ago, we had some flooding on the downtown connector here in Atlanta, and for those people stuck in it, I'm sure they're going to have flashbacks when we see rain again. But for the people in Asheville, they experienced such, I mean, terribleness as that storm moved through. I know I had family who lives near there, and they had one of the roads washed out, one of the interstates, and for, I think it was like 8 months to a year, that road was impassable, and it was just a huge problem. Chelsea Torres, thank you for joining us here on Fox 5 News Live and giving us a look in Asheville, North Carolina. I do appreciate it. And as we continue on here during the 1 o'clock hour, we still have a lot more ahead. We're going to talk about an AJC investigation. We'll do that right after the break. Stay with us. And welcome back to Fox 5 News Live here at 1 o'clock. The time now 1:17 for this interactive news conversation. I'm Tyler Fingert. We are live streaming on all of our social media platforms, so make sure you join us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or TikTok, along with our free Fox Local app. You can join us in the comments. We are reading them, and if you have any questions, we'll, of course, bring them to you here and try to answer them. But as we continue on this Thursday afternoon, I want to talk about an AJC investigation, which is raising questions about patient safety and medical oversight in Georgia. So the report found hundreds of clinics across the state are offering controversial and often unproven treatments, while regulators are taking little action. So joining us now is AJC reporter Carrie Teagarden. You are one of the people who worked on this investigation. Carrie, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about the good journalism you guys are doing over at the AJC, specifically this three-part series. What did your investigation uncover? What have you guys been able to find?
What we really found is that, if you're interested in wellness treatment and things like alternative medicine that might be just outside of what you would normally get from your regular doctor, you really need to sort of be careful and do your homework, because there's not a lot of oversight of this in Georgia, and it's just increasingly popular. It's almost on every corner, and it's all over your social media, sort of these things that people are saying, hey, you should do this for your health, your wellness, or maybe another way to approach even cancer. So we wanted to kind of dig into that, like how safe is that for you?
Well, so what are some of the type of treatments that you're talking about here, so people can maybe get an understanding?
Yeah, some of it's things like that we've heard a lot about, like peptides or hyperbaric oxygen chambers, stem cells. Those are kind of more geared towards wellness or maybe treating some chronic conditions. But then it can also be things that are for more serious, like some of the clinics offer to treat autism or even Alzheimer's or cancer. So it can really run the gamut.
Were you shocked about what you guys were finding to see that maybe that there would, just what you guys found?
Yeah. Well, what we did, let me tell you a little bit more about sort of our process, is we kind of searched to see, where were these places and what were these treatments they were offering. And we literally found they were kind of every corner of Georgia and growing. And then we looked at the credentials of all the providers there. And that's the more kind of shocking part. We found people were claiming they were board certified in things that the credentials were very paper thin. In some cases, we found nurses that might not have the proper physician oversight doing things kind of on their own. And then we found even people who weren't physicians that were kind of using that term for themselves and might have no license at all. So I think that was the thing that really opened our eyes. You really have to be careful and research these providers and then their treatments that may not be FDA approved, may not have any real scientific validity behind them. And generally, it's not covered by insurance. So you're paying often thousands of dollars for this care.
Did you guys find that people were trying to purposely deceive their patients?
I'm sorry. Could you repeat that? I just lost you for a second.
Well, understandable. Technology always.
Yes.
So are you guys finding that maybe these doctors were intentionally trying to deceive people, or did you guys look into that?
I mean, I think it's a growing area of care. It's, very popular among some physicians who I think are true believers, but might not have traditional medical research behind it. I mean, it's very popular among some in the gym culture. Even RFK Jr. has tried a lot of these treatments and believes in them. So I think it's that they don't have the traditional research behind them.
So obviously there's medical boards out there here in the state. Do they look into these types of things? Did you find that they are holding these clinicians, or however you want to phrase them, accountable for what they're doing and what they're saying?
I think the board has a real interest in this, but it's dramatically underfunded. And so it's very hard for them to kind of keep up with these cases and take action. Sometimes it might take years for them to get to it because they have so many complaints and so few investigators. And it's not something that they support by any means. But I think it's just the fact that it's underfunded and trying to get a sense of what's going on.
So people watching may be wondering, is this dangerous? I mean, obviously there's these doctors and these clinicians who are out there offering these types of treatments. Are they putting people at risk if they're unproven and they're using maybe things that aren't founded?
Yes, I think it can. I mean, many people go and get these treatments, and probably the biggest risk is maybe losing money on a treatment that might not really be doing much for them, if anything. But we have found cases where people had suffered consequences or thought that maybe like a cancer treatment was going to be better than traditional care, and then really regretted it later. So, and other states have really sort of cracked down and required more disclosures to patients seeking these treatments so that they know that it's not necessarily backed by science. So I think you do have to be careful and make sure that if you are getting this, that you're being properly evaluated before getting the treatment.
Obviously, you mentioned other states with your response there. Are we doing enough here in Georgia to be able to crack down on these types of things based on your guys' reporting?
I mean, what we found is Georgia has one of the weakest medical boards in the nation, that it's you're among the our board is among the least likely in the nation to impose any kind of serious discipline on doctors for any reason. And so I think there is a big question there about whether our state leadership needs to consider whether more needs to be done.
Well, and the unfortunate thing here is a lot of these, based off your guys' reporting, a lot of these things aren't covered by insurance. So people are trying anything. If they have cancer, they're looking to hopefully beat that cancer. So they're maybe willing to try other things. How much are patients spending for some of these types of therapies?
Oh, it's usually in the thousands and often tens of thousands of dollars that are, yes. And again, it's on, it usually spent out of pocket with very little insurance coverage.
What would be your one takeaway you would want people who are watching and joining us live here on Fox 5 News Live? What would you want them to take away from what you guys found? Obviously, they can read the full report and the full investigation you guys are doing on the AJC's website. But what would you want people who are watching to take away from this investigation?
Yeah, I think just because you're hearing about it on social media, even with influencers or celebrities saying that this is really something you should try, maybe go to your primary care doctor, run it by them, and do a little research on your own about the credentials and the treatment itself, just to say, hey, let me learn a little bit more about this. And always ask, hey, is there physician oversight here? You know, who's involved in recommending this and overseeing my care?
So this is a series you guys are doing. When can people see the next one and the following one after that?
I'm sorry, could you say that again? I'm sorry.
The publication dates. This is obviously, you guys have done the first one on Monday. When can people find the rest of the series?
Yeah, come to ajc.com and you can read the first installment, and then over the next 2 weeks, the other installments will be rolling out.
Well, Carrie, thank you so much for joining us here on Fox 5 News Live. I mean, certainly an interesting story. I mean, everyone deals with medical professionals at some point, probably at least yearly. You're supposed to go to the doctor, and some people might go to these types of different specialties, I guess you could say it, and these different therapy options. But the work you guys are doing, fantastic to be able to shed a light on this, and hopefully the state's able to take some action and maybe get the medical board more funding so they're able to do more. Carrie, thanks so much for joining us here on Fox 5 News Live. I do appreciate it.
Thank you.
And as we continue on here on this Thursday afternoon, let's talk about something that everyone probably has to do in their life. Actually, I think everyone has to do it, not even probably. You have to think about what's for dinner. I mean, for me, it's always like, I don't know. It's like, I'll figure it out later in the day, and then that time comes, it's, what am I going to have? I mean, right now I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to have for lunch after we get off air here at 2 o'clock. But food and lifestyle expert Lisa Washington joined Good Day Atlanta this morning with some creative, interactive dinner boards that the whole family will love. Let's take a look.
Fun, creative, beautiful.
I love you.
I love you so.
I'm taking you with me.
I love you so much. How are you,
Thank you for all that encouragement.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm doing great.
Good, good. Okay, so it is. I mean, every day it's like, what's for dinner? I'm like, I don't know.
I don't know.
Am I going to do this every day for 18 years?
Right, exactly, exactly. What I love about this is that it's interactive.
Yes.
It gets the food on the table. Everybody gets involved in it, and you can make it what you want to make it.
Okay.
And I love this. This is something I've done before. It's called the dinner board jar. Now, we've changed this name to all kinds of things. You basically get to pick what we're going to have for dinner that week. And everyone puts in whatever board they want to do. They put it in this little jar.
That is adorable.
Shake it up, and then whatever one is pulled out, that's what we're going to do that week. So it gets everybody involved in the kitchen.
That is so fun.
Right, and it's not stressful for mom and dad or family members to make dinner every single week during the summertime. You got to feed those kids.
Oh my gosh, especially during summer.
During the summer.
Okay.
So let's talk about it.
Yeah, like
all right.
all these.
So this one here is a taco board.
Okay.
And basically you can do any type of ground meat that you want to do.
Okay.
This is turkey. You put your tortillas. There is fajita, peppers there, onions, cilantro, shredded cheese, lettuce, and you got your salsa right there.
I love that because everybody likes their tacos differently.
That's right.
Right, so you can just kind of
do whatever you want.
Pick what you want.
Whatever you want. The second is two here I absolutely love.
Okay.
Basically, and this actually saves time and money. You can get a long flatbread here, cut it into threes.
Okay.
That's 3 little pizzas right there.
Oh my goodness.
Right?
Yes.
Only thing we're doing here is putting some marinara sauce.
Marinara on the bottom.
Or you can put barbecue sauce on the bottom to make this chicken barbecue
I love
pizza.
it. Good barbecue.
Everybody gets to do their own thing.
Yes.
And this is just pulled rotisserie chicken. So you're not having to go and do all. Just get from the store.
Girl, you get
right, exactly. Yeah. You know how I do it.
I know.
And then this is a pizza one, just normal mozzarella, pepperoni, and this is turkey pepperoni.
Yum.
Yep. So if they want turkey or if they want regular. And then this is for the person who's like, I don't want meat, mommy. This is the veggie one with some mozzarella. You know you get those.
I know.
They say I was watching television today. I'm a vegan.
Yes.
So just in case, and there's nothing wrong with that, you have one for them. So here's my favorite.
Okay.
It's the burger one.
The burger.
The burger. Buck was talking to her. He was saying some stuff to me about.
Buck saying about the burger?
Buck was like, "That's not a burger because
Why?
it has to be beef." Now he's a Burger King,
No,
so
I know. He is a Burger King.
okay, hail him for that. But this is a turkey burger. You can do chicken if you want to.
Okay.
You can do vegan veggie burger if you
love
want to,
that.
and you can do a real burger, which is beef. According to the king.
Have you had a black bean vegan burger?
Girl, I make those.
You, of course. Well,
come on now.
Of course you do, Lisa.
I
Of course
love
you
a black
do.
bean
Yeah.
burger. Then you just lay out all the yummies. You got
Okay.
the buns, the lettuce, the tomato. Then you got these cute little cheeses cut in circles to match.
Ooh, can we make one?
Let's make one together.
I want to make. Oh, here he is.
Oh my gosh!
Burger King.
You gotta come over here.
King, come on.
You gotta come over here, Burger King.
No, come on.
Come
Burger
on,
King.
come over here.
I love that you call
Because he
him.
was talking all that smack to me.
It is a real. Okay, we're about to make a burger.
Oh my God.
It's okay.
Y'all,
Come
just
on,
get
come
over
right
here.
on over here. Look at our burger.
Look at our burgers.
Yeah, I
Well,
saw
you were
them earlier.
Here you go.
saying?
Here, because you said you was going to
I
eat
have to
one.
talk right here. I was talking to Lisa a minute ago.
Right, exactly. All right,
She said,
here.
when you're leaving, make sure you try one.
There's one for you. All right, what you want to put on it? I'm going to put some ketchup on mine.
Okay.
He wants mustard on his.
Oh, I want some mustard too.
All right, there we go. You want a little mustard there?
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay.
All right,
Thank you.
let's try it.
All right. Thank you.
You just getting meat in a bun. Do you want all the
Let me get
rest?
some of that cheese.
Well, get over there. Okay. Oh my God.
Wait, don't. You got to think about it before you do if it's a thumbs up or not. Think about it for a second. I got to get. Sorry, I got to get tomato and everything.
We have time
Y'all
here,
are rushing
buddy.
me. Y'all are rushing me.
You ready?
Go ahead. Get into it. Oh, we got into it.
You sure did.
What is it?
What do you think?
What is it? All right, that's it.
We love this.
All right, it's a success.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you,
was
bro.
just trying to walk out the building.
Now you got a burger.
Horse fed a burger.
Is that 2 burgers for you this week? Because this
This is
is a
turkey
burger.
burger.
No,
It's still a burger.
You're so funny.
I normally only do these for Thanksgiving.
Oh,
Well, happy Thanksgiving.
Lisa's here.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you for participating in our burger.
Yes.
Bye. Have a good day. We'll see you later. Okay. Real quick.
Okay, last one.
Yes.
A fruit board
Okay.
and a dessert board. So this is really great. Kids can pick up their favorite treats.
Okay.
But also, mommy and daddy, we need
Yeah.
to put some fruit on there to kind of bring it all together. So there we go. 4 different boards for making dinner easy and interactive and
I love
delicious.
that. You're the best. And this is really cool.
Yeah, pick out yours for tonight.
Okay.
What you doing?
You know what I'm doing?
A burger board!
I'm taking this home.
Take this with
Bring
you.
it home. I'll bring it back. I love you.
I love you.
You're an angel. I love you. Truly, I love you so very much. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
And you can keep up with Lisa on social media by following her on Instagram or finding her on Facebook. Visit her website, setthetableWithLove.com.
You know the food's good when they're eating it live on air. And then Buck ran from his desk into the studio. If you want to catch any of our Good Day Atlanta segments, you can head to our website, fox5atlanta.com. We still have a lot more ahead here on Fox 5 News Live at 1. We're back in 2 minutes. And welcome back to Fox 5 News Live. Thanks so much for sticking with us. The time now 1:34 on this Thursday afternoon. Remember, this is an interactive news conversation. I'm Tyler Fingert. I'll be joining you through the rest of the hour, and we have a lot to talk about, and I want to talk about some of our headlines that we're following here in the Fox 5 newsroom. Let's talk about this. This is a story that broke at about 10:30 this morning. A 11-year-old is missing out of DeKalb County. He disappeared yesterday afternoon, according to DeKalb County Police. Investigators say he was last seen around 4 p.m. leaving the 1200 block of Shepherd Place in Stone Mountain. Kisean, he is described as 4 feet 10 inches tall, weighing about 90 pounds. This is the image that the DeKalb County Police Department posted on their social media, asking anyone who might know anything to give them a call. Police say he was last seen wearing a white Spider-Man t-shirt and black shorts. Anyone who sees him or has information about his whereabouts is urged to call 770-724-7710 immediately. You can help bring him home. His family, I'm sure, will be incredibly grateful to you. So if you see him, call police or Crime Stoppers. They will, of course, help get him back to where he belongs. Let's talk about another story that is certainly making headlines. Look at this mugshot. This is a former Roswell High School employee. She is accused of sexually assaulting a student and exchanging thousands of text messages with the teenager. And they discussed a future together and expressed fear about being caught. That's according to a newly released arrest warrant that I was able to obtain this morning. Amanda Katz, who's 55 years old, was arrested on June 2nd, so just 2 days ago, and she was charged with improper sexual contact by an employee or agent. Roswell police said the investigation began after a referral from Georgia Division of Family and Children's Services, which alleged misconduct involving a Roswell High School student. So what we know, according to that arrest warrant, which is certainly very interesting, it's also several pages long, it determined, according to investigators, that Katz engaged in a sexual relationship with a 16-year-old student between December 2025 and February 2026. So just about a few-month period, and that was while she was employed at Roswell High School. The investigation included witness interviews, school records, forensic interviews, and a review of cell phone evidence. The student told investigators the relationship began as a friendship and eventually became romantic. Detectives allege the student described multiple sexual encounters that occurred at Katz's home, in her vehicle, and during an off-campus trip. So one of the things that I found interesting about the warrant was apparently his family, the 16-year-old's family, and Katz actually went up to Helen, and they had some family trip there around the Valentine's Day holiday. And so the warrant says that the relationship came to light after the family members discovered communications between Katz and the student during that Valentine's Day trip to Helen. Investigators wrote that the witnesses described Katz as upset after the discovery, and according to statements included in the warrant, she repeatedly tried to contact the student after family members left the trip early and later appeared distraught when she realized the relationship had been exposed. Several Roswell High School employees also told investigators that Katz openly discussed the student and referred to him as her boyfriend. Co-workers reported that after the trip, Katz appeared emotional and sought reassurance after learning she might no longer be able to see him. Again, thousands of messages recovered. This is a case certainly interesting. A 55-year-old woman allegedly in a relationship with a 16-year-old student. Obviously, police took action, and we have more information on our website, fox5atlanta.com, including some of those text messages that police were able to obtain. Worth the read if you want to go look into it. Certainly an interesting warrant when I was reading through it this morning. Let's talk about a different story that ended in Roswell last night. Let's take a look at this mugshot. This is our first look at the man police say is responsible for a road rage shooting that left another driver wounded. Authorities have released the mugshot of Bashir Beal, who investigators say opened fire on another motorist during a confrontation on a DeKalb County roadway. This happened yesterday morning. According to investigators, 57-year-old Kenneth Taylor was driving when he became involved in a road rage incident with the suspect. During that encounter, police say Beal fired multiple shots, striking Taylor and his vehicle. You're looking at images from police as they were gathering the evidence that they needed to be able to take part to continue this investigation. And so despite being wounded, investigators say Taylor managed to keep driving. He eventually crossed into Roswell and stopped near Highway 92 and Laurel Lake Road, where he called for help. When officers arrived, they found Taylor conscious, alert, and breathing. He was taken to the hospital for treatment and is expected to survive. Meanwhile, detectives worked to identify the shooter, and investigators say they tracked Beal to Cherokee County, where he was taken into custody without incident. Beal is now charged with aggravated assault and possession of a firearm during the commission of a crime. For a moment, I want you to take a listen to what DeKalb County investigators told us. Take a listen.
Just in front of this QT, there was an incident between two drivers near the intersection. At some point, a driver in one vehicle had fired on the driver in the other vehicle. That driver in the other vehicle was struck. Both drivers continued down the street where the driver had pulled over into a turning lane. Just east from here is in the city of Roswell. So the shooting took place in unincorporated DeKalb County, but the victim pulled over in the city of Roswell. So there's multiple jurisdictions currently on scene right here, right now. But this case is currently being invested by the DeKalb County Police Major Crimes Unit. The victim was transported to a nearby hospital. I do not know the exact extent of their injuries, other than that they sustained at least one gunshot wound. The suspect had fled the scene prior to officers' arrival.
Yeah, certainly interesting to hear all of this. This played out again yesterday morning. We had Denise Dillon out there for much of the afternoon piecing together what exactly happened. Police have not released details about what may have sparked the road rage confrontation, but you have to imagine it was probably something that was not meaningful and was not even necessary to escalate to gunfire. The investigation obviously continues at this hour. We're going to switch it up a little bit. We're going to take you to downtown Atlanta, where there is a massive competition going on right now. Nearly 7,000 students from across the country are competing here in Atlanta this week, showing off skills that could shape America's future workforce. It's Skills USA. If you've never heard of them before, it's a great organization. I actually took part in it when I was back in high school. So we sent our Chris Rosenthal out there to take a look inside the massive conference and competition. Chris, what can you show us?
Well, hey, first of all, I didn't know that you actually took part in this. Yeah, this is a big competition here at the Georgia World Congress Center. They've got all kinds of disciplines from carpentry into plumbing, and this is one of the cooler sections here where students are competing, building essentially a tiny house that brings together a lot of the different disciplines. We got carpentry, plumbing, electrical, we got cosmetology, culinary, a bit of everything, but it's all about the skilled trades. And I got the executive director, Shelly Travis, here joining me, and we'll go for a little walk here, but tell me a little bit about Skills USA and what we're having going on here.
Okay, so really simply put, Skills USA is the #1 workforce development organization for students. We serve over 444,000 student and teachers nationwide in middle schools, high schools, and college post-secondary institutions in things as 3D animation and design to welding and literally everything in between, like construction, manufacturing, healthcare, law and public safety, IT, personal care services, and literally every skilled trade, almost 130 occupational areas you will find within our programs across the U.S. And Skills USA, simply put, is a connection between education and industry and a solution to our nation's skills gap in America.
And when we look around here in these competitions, tell me a little bit about it. These are the national competitions and eventually leading to the world competitions, huh?
Absolutely.
Over this way some too, yeah.
So this is what you are seeing is the largest showcase of skilled talent of its kind in the U.S. So there are over 7,000 competitors right now and 115 competitions. And they are, they are the champions from each of their states. These students compete at the local, regional, state, and then I get to see those champions at the national level. And they have the opportunity in some occupational areas then to go on to the international stage. But I think one of the things that really sets this apart, we were talking about business and industry connection, is that our technical standards for SkillsUSA and for these championships are actually designed with input from business and industry. And those same business and industry professionals actually serve to design the competitions and judge those competitions as well. It takes thousands of business and industry partners literally to put on our competitions. It's a huge investment, almost $36 million from business and industry on an annual basis, really showing their commitment to a skilled career. And truly today, Thursday, has been noted as one of the largest days of industry volunteerism in our nation is actually the SkillsUSA Championships.
And this one we're looking at is a woodworking competition here. Talk to me about, skilled trades, skilled labor, the shortages out there. Why is this so important?
It's so important because these are the people that literally keep our lights on, keep our cars moving. They keep our economy going each and every day. Put a roof over our head right here on this competition floor that you see. And what's so important about that, as the skills gap and actually the number of opportunities available in the workforce that do not have skilled employees to go into them, as that continues to grow, you hear 300 to 500 availability in construction, 2.1 million in manufacturing by the year 2028. That actually has real impact. It costs consumers not only time, but money, but also business and industry as well. In a few years alone, we saw that over 19,000 homes went unbuilt from some research from AGC and NCCER. And that cost literally our economy billions of dollars. And that's just one sector and one example. So it's not only an economic imperative, but it's also becoming an imperative of actually national security.
So, Travis, thank you for joining us. We'll hang here, watch these competitions. Tomorrow is when they announce the winners. They'll have a big closing ceremony. I think bright future, bright careers, path ahead for these students, some of the best of the best.
Chris, I'll tell you, I did not compete in any of this important stuff. I did the TV production one, the competitions that they do for that, which was also cool and also interesting. I'm not as great as those folks, but super informative, super cool to be able to see what's going on inside the Georgia World Congress Center. Chris, thanks so much. We'll see you later on at 2 and 3 o'clock. We still have a lot more ahead here on Fox 5 News Live at 1. Stay with us. We'll be right back in just 2 minutes. And welcome back to Fox 5 News Live on this Thursday afternoon, the time 1:49. This is an interactive news conversation, which means you can join us in the comments on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook, along with our free Fox Local app. And looking at the comments from our Skills USA competition we just took you to, the username Ocean on TikTok said, "Oh, I remember winning the culinary portion." I'm sure there's a lot of people. They have huge amounts of students taking part each and every year. So a lot of people are probably that similar boat where they have won. So super cool for you and for all those students competing. Well, let's talk about something a little bit different. We're going to take you outside, and that has to do with bicycling and taking a bike ride. So more than 1,000 cyclists are rolling through Metro Atlanta today as part of one of the nation's longest running bicycle tours. Eli Jordan joins us live with all the details. Hey, Eli.
Hey, Tyler. Yeah, brag. Bicycle ride across Georgia, over 1,000 bicyclers in their 46th annual state tour. So it's a pretty big deal. It's growing and growing and all that. And I'm in Fayetteville at the town at Trillith, which is, we got the Trillith Studios here, and they got a little town center over there, and all these bicyclers are arriving and camping out, and they just left Carrollton this morning, and right there in the shade, that's Sally. She's out of Marietta. She is, this is her 30th brag ride, 30 years of riding across the state, over 400 miles, and I am actually with a first-time brag rider, and Joshua Knoll. How you doing, Joshua?
I'm great, Elijah. Nice to meet you.
Hey, good to meet you. And so you can call me Eli, by the way.
Eli.
Yeah. And so what do you think so far? How's the ride treating you?
Brag's been great. Yeah, this is my first experience here, and trying not to let it kick my butt, but been having a good time.
So is it hard getting up early in the morning and getting right on a bike and taking off and breaking down camp?
Shoot, no. That's not been too hard yet. As soon as one of their alarms goes off, I spring right out of bed, and then I moan and groan and complain and take all my stuff down and rinse and repeat. It's not been too bad.
And so you're riding with a team, right?
Yes.
And so the name of your team, your team is right over here, I do believe.
Yep.
And the name of your team is out of Roswell and Alpharetta, and what are they called?
The Chattahooligans.
The Chattahooligans. These are the Chattahooligans. And if I were riding, I would be part of the Chattahooligans because it looks like they know how to have a good time. I hear they got some tequila over here too in their cooler.
Bit rowdy of a group.
So I got to ask you this: is that beer better after a long ride?
Shit, yeah, it is.
All right, yeah. Right. So tell me, what's it like? You guys left Carrollton this morning?
Yes, we did. Yep.
And how was that ride from Carrollton?
It was great. 55 miles, I think. Just got back a couple minutes ago. The drive is being here with everyone, drinking beers, hanging out at the camp. So the biking's secondary, but a fun part nonetheless.
Well, you're out of Chattanooga, so you're getting a nice tour of the state of Georgia, though.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And I'm impressed with all this is part of the brag ride. We got the trailers, we got the portable showers, we got the portalettes. What's it like to be part of such a big group? Not only just the Chattahooligans, but just the entire brag group.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see something of this scale kind of pulled off so easily, and everyone's kind of respectful of other people's space and things, and very community-like feeling here, and it feels easy, all things considered.
Will you do this again next year?
Certainly.
So you got your first year coming, almost getting close to having a whole, the whole 400 miles underneath your belt.
Right.
What's it going to feel like when you pull into Columbus come Saturday?
It's going to feel great. It's going to feel great. I don't know if I'll have words for it, but I'll certainly be wanting another beer.
Right on. And this is a family endeavor.
Yes.
Your brother and your dad, but your dad couldn't be here because he broke his shoulder.
Right.
And but what's it like riding with your brother?
Oh, it's
and
great.
Your uncle too. Your uncle Bob is here.
Yeah, my uncle's here too. Got my uncle, got my brother. So it's cool to have a sort of a family aspect to it. Really wanted to ride with my dad, so totally bummed he couldn't make it this time, but of course I'll be here next year and so on and so forth. So yeah, it's cool to have your family here doing it too, and people you can rely on and whatnot.
Awesome. Joshua Knoll, thank you very much, and congratulations on well into your first brag ride, and enjoy that beer and enjoy several more. And Thank you to the Chattahooligans riding out of Roswell and Alpharetta too. And they'll be arriving in Columbus on Saturday along with everybody else here. And that's where the Bragg ride will wrap up, Tyler. And that's what's going on. They're all here and just kind of taking the rest. This is kind of like looks like, it's Tent City, kind of like a Burning Man, but call it Bicycle Man. And or maybe a Shakedown Street at a Dead show or something like that. But there's a lot of good times happening here. They finally got rode from Carrollton, made it over here to Fayetteville at Town at Trilith. It's across the street from Trilith Studios, and now they can unwind for the day, relax, get a shower, maybe use the restroom, get their bikes tuned up, and of course, have a few beers and maybe a shot of tequila. Tyler?
You threw me off with a shot of tequila at the end. Do you have your bike? Would you take part?
I've got my work vehicle, and that's just perfect for me. And the only thing I'm missing is maybe a beverage or two. But we can do that this evening when I get home from my duties of the day.
I'm disappointed. You knew you were heading out there all day. You could have rode your bike down there and then took a shot of tequila with them.
I know, but I'm just gonna have to wait, I guess. It's my Friday, Tyler. It's my Friday, so I'll be all right. It'll be cool. I'm close enough.
Yeah, what better way to spend your Friday out in the town at Trilith? Beautiful weather day, and with all these bicyclists. Eli, thanks so much for joining us here for Fox 5 News Live at 1 o'clock. We'll see you a little later on at 2 and 3 o'clock. And that is going to do it for me. I'm Tyler Finger. Thanks so much for streaming along with us for the last hour here on Fox Local, and of course all of our social media platforms, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and of course Facebook. We still have a lot more ahead here for Fox 5 News Live at 2 and 3 o'clock. My good friend Ariel Onstad is going to join you for the 2 o'clock hour along with Tom Haynes at 3. Don't go anywhere. We're back in just 2 minutes.
Welcome in, everyone. I'm Ariel Onstadt. Thanks so much for being here at 2 o'clock. We've got a lot of news to get to, as we always do. So let's talk about a story that has many of us scratching our heads. As this afternoon, we're learning a little bit more about an investigation, federal investigation into MARTA. And at this point, the federal government has announced it wants to look at MARTA's security, safety, and spending plans. This comes after a couple of violent incidents on MARTA stations. Just last weekend, you may remember, a 66-year-old woman was stabbed to death while riding a train. So Fox's Tara Jabor has been digging into this to make sense of everything. Tara, definitely something that has a lot of people looking at MARTA and asking questions.
Ariel, absolutely. And the federal government is giving MARTA about 15 days to share their fiscal plan from last year and this upcoming year when it comes to safety and security. They also want MARTA to provide a safety plan. Now, as you can see, we're at a MARTA station. Here behind me, it's very busy. Obviously, we know that a lot of people use MARTA. And just the recent violence really has a lot of people talking about the safety and security of riding the trains and the buses here with MARTA. Now, the World Cup is obviously starting in less than 2 weeks, and a lot of the recommendations for the World Cup is to take a MARTA train to get there to, of course, reduce traffic. But with this recent violence, I think that some people have become a little bit concerned with that plan. Now, the federal government, in their release today, they say that MARTA's rate of crime incidents for MARTA employees and riders is nearly twice the national average, and we know that's, of course, due to this recent crime that we saw. Now, we spoke to riders today about safety on the MARTA trains. A lot of people, when we spoke to them, they told us that they would like to see some MARTA officers actually on these trains and buses because they think that that will maybe help deter some of this crime that we've been seeing. I spoke to one man who told me that he does feel like ever since, especially this most recent stabbing a week ago, he said he's really been on edge just about everything happening. Let's take a listen to what some people had to say.
Politicize a tragedy to advance their own agenda, and that's just how I see this. You know, everybody deserves to feel safe, you know, whether they're commuting to work, going to school, or visiting Atlanta during the World Cup.
I'm more aware of my surroundings at all times. When I see something that could potentially be, you know, a danger for me, I'll move to another train or get off the train altogether.
Now, MARTA did release a statement saying in part, quote, "We welcome the opportunity to share with federal officials the hard work that the MARTA team puts in every day, as well as the significant investments in personnel, technology, and operational measures that MARTA has in place to support safety and security across our entire system," end quote. Ariel?
This is something we're going to continue to keep our eyes on because it's sparked a lot of conversation in the community for one big reason. And I think at number two, a lot of people would love to maybe see MARTA officials speak about this matter, maybe publicly, maybe beyond a statement. I understand legality and everything else. This is what they're doing at this point. But for transparency, that's what I've seen from some of people's comments online as they may be avid riders of MARTA or just thinking about the upcoming World Cup.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good point. And we did ask them if they would do an interview with us today, and they did decline.
Tara, thank you so much for your hard work on this story. I really appreciate your hard work reporting, and I'll let you get to it. We'll see you again later this evening. Want to address, we're getting some comments here on TikTok, YouTube. If you guys want to chime in on any of the stories we're talking about today, always feel free. Someone is asking why a British man is speaking on Atlanta. I'm assuming you're speaking about the director of Play Fair Atlanta. That is an organization actually here in our city. His name is Michael Collins, and he's the director, and he's actually lives here in Atlanta and has for many years and is engaged in our community. So because of his organization, he works closely with MARTA and other transportation options within our city, and that's why we spoke to him. So let's talk about some headlines that we're following here in our city this afternoon. A sale involving a puppy turned violent. This is alarming. Police say that a woman and her child narrowly escaped injury after a puppy sale turned violent in northwest Atlanta. Now, officers responded just before 11 yesterday, or actually this was Wednesday Wednesday. Yeah, yesterday. So this was a reported aggravated assault on Joseph E. Boone Boulevard. And when officers arrived, they met with a woman who says she had been robbed and shot during an arrangement, or shot at during an arranged meeting to purchase a puppy. According to investigators, the woman was sitting in her car holding the puppy while her child sat in the back seat of that car. During the transaction for her to buy that puppy, an unknown man approached the vehicle, grabbed the puppy, and ran. Police say the person selling the puppy then became angry, pulled out a firearm, and fired multiple rounds into the victim's vehicle. Neither the woman nor her child was struck by the gunfire, but investigators say the suspect also took the victim's purse before fleeing the scene in a white Nissan Altima. So this is pretty crazy, because you go to buy a dog, a puppy, and then not only do you end up getting shot at, but your purse is taken in this process. An investigation we're going to continue to follow as we continue here. I also want to let you know we're getting more information about the details in a warrant involving an alleged relationship with a Roswell student. This involved a Roswell High employee. And according to the warrant, there was a secret relationship that this employee had with a 16-year-old student for months. The former high school employee is accused of sexually assaulting that student, exchanging thousands of text messages with the teen, and discussing a future together and expressing fear about being caught. That employee's name is Amanda Katz. She's 55 years old, and she was arrested June 2nd and charged with improper sexual conduct by an employee or agent. Roswell police say the investigation started after a referral from the Georgia Division of Family and Children's Services alleged the misconduct involving a Roswell High student. And so far, according to that warrant, we're getting an understanding as to how all of this unfolded. They say between December 2025 and February 2026, while Katz was employed at Roswell High School, this investigation, or this relationship, did continue. And the investigation itself included witness interviews, school records, forensic interviews, and a review of cell phone evidence. The student told police the relationship started as a friendship and eventually became romantic. Detectives allege the student described multiple sexual encounters that occurred at Katz's home and her vehicle and during an off-campus trip. So this is something we're going to continue to keep an eye on as the investigation goes forward. As far as what's next, the warrant states that detectives relied on witness statements, and there's probable cause to charge Katz under Georgia's law prohibiting sexual conduct and contact between student employees and students. But we're going to continue to follow this because, as we know, she did resign from her position. Her bond was set at $25,000 following her arrest. But at this point, police are asking anyone with any further information on this situation to come forward and speak to them. So we'll continue to keep you updated. I also want to let you know that our governor is responding to calls from Democratic lawmakers for investigation. So more than 35 Democratic state legislators are demanding that Governor Brian Kemp launch an independent investigation into a school safety contractor here in Georgia. Now, that school safety contractor is CentGix, and the company was founded by Derek Dooley's family. Derek Dooley is a current Republican U.S. Senate candidate, and lawmakers are alleging a corruption and pay-to-play scheme involving tens of millions in taxpayer dollars and $100,000 in campaign boosts for Derek Dooley for his Senate campaign here in Atlanta. You also may remember that Governor Kemp has endorsed Derek Dooley in his Senate campaign. So this demand for transparency that Democratic lawmakers are calling for is landing right in the middle of this highly contested Republican runoff election for the U.S. Senate. Now, Governor Brian Kemp's office is dismissing these calls as unfounded partisan accusations. The governor's office says local school districts, not the state, control how school security grant money is spent. And in a statement released late yesterday, Kemp's office argued that Democratic lawmakers are unfairly targeting a school safety funding program that lawmakers from both parties previously supported. So we'll continue to keep you updated on this one. Also, if you are driving around this weekend, because let's be honest, who does not drive around on the weekends here in Atlanta? Let's talk about another big closure. I-285, yeah, the west side, it is closing again. State Transportation transportation officials are warning you to prepare for widespread gridlock as they are shutting down I-285 westbound once again, all northbound and all southbound lanes of Interstate 285. And this is going to affect the stretch between State Route 139 or Martin Luther King Jr. Drive at exit 9 and Cascade Road at exit 7. So this is very similar, pretty much the same stretch that was closed a couple weeks ago. Weather and on-site conditions permitting, that closure is going to start 7 p.m. Friday and will remain in place until 5 a.m. Monday. So truly the entire weekend. So just keep that in mind. In addition to this total shutdown between Cascade Road and Martin Luther King Jr. Drive, crews are also going to close one left lane on Interstate 285 northbound between Washington Road at exit 1 and Martin Luther King Jr. Drive at exit 9. So just that whole area, keep in mind it's going to be a mess. You'll want to avoid it. The construction work is supposed to support the ongoing I-285 West Side reconstruction project, and this is a 10-mile effort from State Route 14 from South Fulton Parkway and College Park to Collier Road. Crews are trying to reconstruct that area, make the road better, but there is a headache that we're going to have to get through before that happens. So just keep that in mind. As we continue along, speaking of transportation and the fact that we're going to experience a bit of gridlock this weekend, if you will, we are expecting many more travelers here in the Atlanta area because of the FIFA World Cup. A lot of eyes are on our city, and officials are wanting to make sure we're putting our best foot forward. So what better way to do that than a giant cleanup effort? Our Deidre Dukes joins us live. And Deidre, it's great to see you. I understand there's going to be a huge cleanup effort underway in a lot of Atlanta's neighborhoods tomorrow.
That's right, and this really is a big volunteer effort. It is hosted by a nonprofit that is very well known here in the community. It's called the Free World Foundation. It was created by an Atlanta-based R&B artist. His name is Zario, and he came up with this organization in 2016 because he wanted to do what he could to help make the city of Atlanta a better place. And what better way to do that than to help in part clean up the community. And so they are sponsoring on Saturday what they're calling the Get Up and Clean Up Initiative. Starting at 9 a.m., we're told that hundreds of people will gather outside the Fulton County Courthouse on the Pryor Street side, and they will gather there and organize, and then they'll fan out across the city, and they'll target some areas of the community that really see a lot of litter and heavy trafficked areas, and they intend to do their part out there with trash bags and the like to clean up those communities. Those will be some of the more high-profile areas where tourists will be venturing through as they go back and forth to Mercedes-Benz Stadium. But also, the group said they also want to do this for Atlanta area residents as well. They say it's important that our streets are clean, helping Atlanta city officials by doing their part as well. And they said that this is something that they're really excited about and that they actually have done before. So they say what better time to continue with these efforts than during ahead of the FIFA World Cup. And so we talked to Zario earlier this week, and here's what he had to say.
So we're cleaning up the downtown corridor, and we have over hundreds of volunteers that's going to be here to help us do that.
How did you come up with this idea, and why is it so important?
Well, being a very spiritual person, God just put it on my heart to make sure that we are looking presentable as a city, and it's a great way to bring together organizations and different groups to come together for a common cause that we all can believe in, like making sure that we're clean and decent. There's a lot of trash that we see that's down on the street, so we're trying to get those areas that are very impacted with trash and with different traffic that's down there, so we can make sure that we look very presentable.
Great. So once again, they will gather at 9 a.m. Outside the Fulton County Courthouse on the Pryor Street side. They'll be targeting areas where we'll see heavy foot traffic as tourists make their way back and forth to Mercedes-Benz Stadium here in the city of Atlanta, saying that they really want to do everything they can to help the city shine during that period as we welcome so many visitors into our city. Ariel.
Deidre, definitely going to be a lot of eyes on our city. And I know that people have criticized this idea that, hey, we just have to clean up for FIFA. Why not clean up because we're from here, we live here, and we want it to look nice for ourselves. So hopefully this effort will continue beyond just the next month or so that we do enjoy the World Cup.
That's right, absolutely. And this group is one of those organizations that really does do the good work, the work that needs to be done year round. And anyone who'd like to take part on Saturday can sign up via Eventbrite, and also can go to their website at freeworldfoundation.org and sign up for Saturday's cleanup event.
Awesome. Deidre Dukes, thank you so much. I know we'll see you again later this evening. I appreciate you. All right, guys, as we continue along here, some of you asking questions here in our chat, asking if they are doing this for free. And yes, they are. Volunteers are coming together. Like Deidre mentioned, they're meeting at the courthouse before going out to clean up. So it is a volunteer basis. No one's being paid. They decided they wanted to show up and help clean and make things beautiful. So that is good news. As we continue along here, let's talk about the latest with Ebola, because that is a big concern ahead of the FIFA World Cup. You're taking a look at scenes that photojournalists captured in Kenya as protests have erupted. More than 340 Ebola cases have now been confirmed in the Democratic Republic of Congo. And now Secretary of State Marco Rubio says any Americans who test positive at a Kenya facility could be treated here in the U.S. This comes after deadly protests in Kenya over an American Ebola facility. The Trump administration appears to be shifting its position now, saying that no one with the virus would be allowed in the United States. And now they're saying, well, now if you are an American who has Ebola, you might actually be treated in the U.S. as opposed to Kenya. Secretary of State Marco Rubio told lawmakers Wednesday that if an American is exposed, they'll be sent to that center in Kenya for observation and not treatment. And earlier this week, a Kenyan court blocked the 50-bed unit for another 3 weeks due to cross-border infection risk. Still, U.S. military flights carrying equipment and staff have reportedly continued into Kenya for that facility, according to flight data. Democrats on Capitol Hill say they're concerned the facility could fuel an outbreak in the East African country, and it comes as confirmed Ebola cases continue to climb in the DRC. The World Health Organization says response efforts are catching up, but there are growing challenges over scaling up testing and contact tracing. Kenya's president has defended the American Ebola facility, pointing to a long-standing health partnership with the United States, but it's unclear whether or not Kenyans would actually benefit from that facility. Let's talk about something happening here a little closer to home. As Department of Homeland Security Secretary Markwayne Mullin has been testifying on Capitol Hill, and we're learning that new ICE agents will now undergo increased training beginning next month after criticism that DHS was loosening its standards. The Homeland Security Secretary made this announcement Wednesday during a heated congressional hearing. He was asked about the department's plans to change the training requirements for new recruits from 42 to 72 days. You guys may remember that ICE agents were facing an abbreviated training window that was receiving a lot of criticism. Mullin did not address that criticism of the training schedule or comment on why it was being changed now, but ICE officials had revamped the training as part of efforts to swiftly hire and train an additional 10,000 deportation officers last year. At the time, the agency had about 6,500 officers. Earlier this year, a former ICE lawyer responsible for training new officers said the agency's program for recent recruits was, quote, deficient, defective, and broken. However, ICE and Homeland Security officials have denied accusations that new recruits were not given proper training. Mullin said Wednesday that increased training will go into effect July 1st, adding the department had to, quote, rewrite the curriculum. So let's talk about the latest unfolding in Iran, because this has been truly just a back and forth. And news of a U.S.-mediated ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon had raised hopes that progress would be made towards a larger deal to end the war in Iran. But less than 24 hours after it was announced, the Lebanon deal already hit a major roadblock. Hezbollah has rejected the ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon Thursday, and there's setback for American efforts to end the war in Iran. Iranian leaders say they're not going to cut a deal with the U.S. unless Israel stops firing on Hezbollah, which is Iran's proxy in Lebanon. The United States is not involved in strikes against Hezbollah, but President Trump says his administration is still actively involved in the negotiations. Lebanon denies that conversation ever happened. And back in Washington, Secretary of State Marco Rubio met with the Kuwaiti foreign minister yesterday morning. Actually, this morning, Thursday morning, a day after Kuwait's international airport was struck by Iranian drones. Rubio told a House committee Wednesday that while the U.S. has significantly reduced Iran's drone stockpile, there's still a challenge for the entire region. Furthermore, President Trump is also blasting 4 House Republicans who joined Democrats to pass a war powers resolution aimed at limiting his ability to continue operations in Iran. The president asking in a post, who would do such an unpatriotic thing, end quote. Now, I'd like to let you listen to 2 of those Republican representatives there in the House who did vote for the war powers resolution and why they decided to do so. Take a listen.
I'm excited that it did pass. And people are tired of this. They're tired of $5 a gallon gas and $6 a gallon diesel and fertilizer we can't afford to put on our fields in Kentucky. So I think it sends a good message that the People's House, which represents the people, is tired of this war.
What do you think has changed to make enough Republicans vote with Democrats on this?
Well, we were told this would just be a few weeks, a few days, and now we're in the 4th month of it. And so I think what's changed is more time has passed and people are getting tired of it.
Was there any effort to change Republicans' minds ahead of this vote today? Did you hear from the White House? Did your colleagues hear from the White House?
I don't know.
Didn't?
I don't know if there was any effort. Nobody tries to change my mind anymore on anything, so I don't hear those conversations.
Would you have voted differently had you won your primary?
No, I've been consistent on this. I mean, I was a co-sponsor of this resolution.
Mr. Fitzpatrick, what's your reaction to this war powers resolution passing, and what was behind your decision to support this here?
I supported it last time. The law is the law. 60 days. That's what the War Powers Act says. So we're past 60 days. As soon as we pass 60 days, I've been supporting it and will continue to do so.
And you've been out front against this weaponization fund of the DOJ. Todd Blanchard.
Can I ask you just about some Republicans are saying that this war powers vote could undermine, peace talks or send the wrong message to Iran? What's your response to that?
We have to follow the law. There's a law in the books. The War Powers Act of '73 says 48-hour notification and 60-day concurrence of Congress. We're past the 60 days. So you have 2 choices. You either follow the law or you change the law. You can't violate the law. That's not an option. So I offered an alternative that would accommodate ceasefires for negotiations, real ceasefires and not ceasefires in name only. That was not taken up, just like our alternative to the premium tax credits was not taken up, just like our alternative to the Ukraine bill was not taken up. So we're left to go down these other paths.
So you got to hear from 2 Republicans who joined Democrats to vote for the war powers resolution. And with the ground advances continuing, at least in parts of Lebanon, this is something we're continuing to monitor. Iran's new supreme leader, who is yet to be seen in public, issued a statement Thursday telling his people to stand firm against Israel and the United States. So we will be keeping our eyes on this. But I do want to let you know that the Middle East isn't the only global hotspot right now. The war in Ukraine is really heating up once again, and Ukrainian airstrikes have pounded Russia. Progress remains stalled on the front lines, but Russian airstrikes are expanding against Ukraine after a major uptick in Ukrainian strikes on Russia. Most experts now say Moscow's losing on the ground in this war, incurring heavy losses while the front lines remain largely static. That was seemingly confirmed by Russia's ambassador to the UK, who said Thursday, quote, "I cannot deny that the war cost a lot, and this year we have a very low percentage of growth." This admission came a day after the major Ukrainian strike on oil facilities in St. Petersburg, an embarrassing blow at the start of Vladimir Putin's annual economic forum with high-ranking foreign officials in attendance, including an American delegation. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky says the attack was not political, and as the war grinds on, Congress is increasingly pushing the White House to give more aid to Ukraine. Secretary of State Marco Rubio tells lawmakers on Wednesday when he testified that $400 million being held up by the Pentagon will soon be available. But he stressed the conflict will only end through a diplomatic process. Take a listen to what he had to say, as well as, say, former Deputy National Security Advisor.
because of the war in Russia, with Russia, and Ukraine really having nothing much at its disposal, it has, on its own initiative, created an incredible product with drones and anti-drone technology. That's how they've kept the Russians at bay for all of these years. And so they now have a product the world wants, and they're the most advanced technology of drones.
I would also say that how we have viewed it is this war has no military solution. It has to have a negotiated settlement to it. And that's the role we've tried to play, and it's been a difficult role to play because, frankly, we're not an impartial mediator. We sanction Russia, and we are providing and have sold weapons through the Pearl program, which has remained unimpeded, to the Ukrainians.
So this is something we're going to continue to monitor, especially as ground advances have stalled. Russia says this week it's pushing ahead with, quote, systematic airstrikes in Ukraine. As we continue here at 2 o'clock, you guys, I want to get a check of your weather forecast here in North Georgia with meteorologist Lauren Robinson. Then we're going to talk a little bit about where grocery stores here in Georgia rank in terms of expenses. If you feel like you're paying more for groceries, you're not alone. We're going to talk about where Georgia falls. That's coming up. Welcome in, everyone. I'm Ariel Onstadt. Thanks so much for being here on your Thursday afternoon. Hey, if you're already thinking about the weekend, what the weather's going to look like in the days ahead, let's check in with meteorologist Lauren Robinson.
Well, we have a beautiful day in store. Yesterday, a tad bit chilly as we maxed out in the 70s, but today we're going to make it into the lower to middle 80s, which is closer to seasonal for this time of year. We have a look at our live Viper radar, and this big H that's sitting across North Georgia, that's high pressure. And what that means is we're going to see sunny, dry conditions prevail, and they're going to stick around over the next few days. That's the good news there. Now, as we take a look at the rest of the day today, we're going to continue to be sunny. We're actually going to be pretty dry out there. Our relative humidity isn't looking too bad. We're going to stay in the 70s through around lunchtime or so, and then after lunch we finally start to climb into the lower to middle 80s for our afternoon highs around 4 or 5 o'clock, and then we're back in the 70s by dinner time. Now, as we take a look at what's in store over the next few days, this high pressure continues to remain dominant across North Georgia. What that means for us is we go through our Friday, we continue to see a lot of sunshine, and the same goes for our Saturday. A great couple of days for those outdoor activities. We move into Sunday, though, and this front moves its way closer to North Georgia. We're not expecting anything too widespread on Sunday, but we are looking for some hit or miss, those brief showers, maybe a pop-up storm that we're used to this time of year. That returns to our forecast on Sunday. Now, as we're speaking about showers, our latest drought monitor was released today. It's released every Thursday, but stops collecting data on Tuesday so that they can have a couple of days to compile everything. But the good news is this exceptional level of drought, that's going to be our highest level, has basically been eradicated from the state with all of that rain that we've gotten. You can see just a little tiny piece in far south central Georgia. The rest of the state has seen improvements as well. So that same goes for us here in North Georgia, where we did have a good amount of this extreme level. The red, that has gotten smaller. So really what we're monitoring is severe and moderate levels of drought, which are levels 2 and 3 out of 5. So our drought conditions have continued to get better and better. And what's really noteworthy is going to be severe and extreme levels. Both of these have decreased by nearly half. So we've had big drops in the severe and extreme level, and then our exceptional level almost completely out of the state. So that is great news with all of the rain that we've gotten. And with the rainfall, we're going to backtrack a little bit for our drought monitor over the next few days, but we get to enjoy some sunny, dry conditions. We deserve it after all of the rain we sat through. Now, we're going to have those temperatures in the lower to middle 80s today, tomorrow, and then again on Saturday. But as we push into next week, that's when we start to see the weather change again. By Sunday, we're looking for maybe a brief pop-up shower here and there. You'll spend most of the day dry, but you do want to watch for a pop-up storm. Those temperatures in the middle 80s, right around where we should be this time of year. As we move into the next work week, we'll see those shower and storm chances increase by Monday and Tuesday, and those temperatures will fall just a tad into the lower 80s.
All right, Lauren, thanks so much for the update. We'll stay tuned as we head into the next week. Okay, guys, let's talk about some stories we're following here in the Fox 5 Atlanta newsroom. There were multiple shootings overnight here in Atlanta, and police are investigating. So I'd like to take you guys through some of them to let you know where we stand. Atlanta police investigated multiple shootings, including an apartment complex shooting that resulted in 3 arrests and 2 other incidents involving women who were targeted by gunfire. The most recent incident happened at Harmony Plaza Apartments on Myrtle Drive, where police said 2 people were shot after an argument in the parking lot. Investigators say at least one of the victims was an innocent bystander who was not involved in that dispute, and that victim was a woman. Details about the second victim have not been released, but both victims suffered minor injuries and are expected to survive. Police later arrested 3 people nearby in connection with that shooting. And then earlier in the night, police responded to a shooting I told you about here earlier at 2 o'clock involving a woman and her 4-year-old child. And according to police, that woman encountered a man in the park who fired multiple shots at her vehicle while her child was still inside of the car, and that was while she was trying to buy a puppy. Police say at least a dozen rounds were fired, and neither the woman nor the child were hurt. And then before that, a woman was shot during an attempted robbery, and police say that that happened before 10 Wednesday near Donald Lee Holloway Parkway in Northwest Atlanta. They responded to a Shell gas station and found a woman who had been shot during what investigators described as an attempted armed robbery. They believe that robbery happened several blocks away, and the victim later made her way to the gas station. She is expected to survive her injuries. So Atlanta police continue to investigate all 3 of these incidents, and we'll continue to keep you updated as they do so. But let's talk about a road rage shooting that we first brought you here yesterday afternoon. Just look at the bullet holes in that truck. Incredible. A suspect has been arrested after a road rage shooting in DeKalb County. The victim was found in Roswell suffering from at least 1 gunshot wound and taken to a local hospital. That dispute happened Wednesday morning when a driver opened fire into another vehicle, and Roswell police responded just after 11 a.m. to the area of Highway 92 and Laurel Lake Road. When officers got there, they found that victim and say that they were conscious, alert, and breathing. That victim is now being identified as 57-year-old Kenneth Taylor. They say he ultimately stopped in the city of Roswell, where first responders were able to render that medical aid, but DeKalb County police took over the investigation because that is where the road rage incident started. They say that they believe the perpetrator shot the victim multiple times as he was then trying to get away, and crossed from DeKalb County over into Roswell city lines. While Taylor was being treated, police interviewed witnesses and real-time crime center cameras and combed through camera footage, and they found a gold SUV traveling towards Cherokee County, and detectives detectives identified the suspect as 47-year-old Bashir Beal of Ackworth. So this is something we'll continue to keep you updated on. We don't know what specific action triggered that dispute between the two drivers. It's unclear how many total shots were fired or what type of weapon was used, but police are investigating that. So let's talk about the story I told you we would talk about, which is grocery costs here in the state of Georgia. This may not surprise you, but Georgia is very high when it comes to the cost of groceries. Georgia families are spending significantly more than most Americans, according to a new analysis that ranks the state among the highest in the nation for annual food costs. Lending Tree did this study, and they found that the average Georgia household spends nearly $9,000 on groceries back in 2024, putting Georgia at 11th state nationwide in terms of grocery costs. The total is 12% above the U.S. average of $8,000, and researchers found that Georgia households devote over 8% of their annual income to groceries. The national average is 7%. Food prices have gone up, and a lot of families are dealing with this, so curious if you feel like this makes sense. Researchers found organic fruits and vegetables cost an average of nearly 60% more than conventional options, and nearly half of the 52 organic items reviewed were priced at least 50% higher than their non-organic counterparts. The findings also come as consumers are trying to make ends meet. Utah topped the nation at $11,000 in groceries per household, followed by Alaska and Idaho. So that's a little unexpected. I would think California perhaps, but it seems that that is not the case. I see Stacy saying here that you're at the highest grocery store anyways. It's Publix, and yeah, I have to agree. Publix's prices can seem a little steep. Speaking from my personal experience, I feel that. Okay, guys, taking a look at our timing here. Coming up next, we have more stories to get to. So we are going to speak with our Doug Evans straight ahead about more victims coming forward after a story that we did hear. Fraud victims who want police to help them. That's coming up. Welcome in, everyone. We did a story here on Fox 5 about a contractor accused of fraud in Fayette County. And after our story, we understand that additional charges might be filed because more victims are coming forward. Our Doug Evans joins us live from Fayette County. And Doug, it's good to see you. What can you tell us? I know that the Fayette County Sheriff's Office previously arrested this guy, and now it sounds like your reporting might have gotten more action.
That's right. Our original story was back in August of 2025. That's when Sonoy police, actually over in Coweta County, had arrested this contractor, Nathan Givedin, and said that they believe that there were more victims out there. In February of 2026, we did another story. After our first story aired, they were right. More than 24 people had come forward saying they'd had problems too with this contractor. The Sonoy police, they filed 5 additional charges against Nathan Givedin. As a result of that, more people came forward, including here in Fayette County, and that's where we are right now. They have also arrested Nathan Givedin, this contractor, based on a story told by one customer who said he's done some work for him before and everything was just fine. Lately, though, he'd given him like $16,000 and the work never got started. Here's what the investigator told me about the case.
So our victim actually called and made a report to the Fayette County Sheriff's Office saying that he's worked with the company by Nathan Givedin for several years and he's done work for him before in the past. But for some reason, when he was attempting to get work done now, Mr. Nathan has been stringing him along, not making refunds, making excuses. And it's just been, for the last 3 to 4 months, he hasn't been able to get in contact with him to get his money back.
How much money are we talking about?
About $16,000.
What was he supposed to do for him?
It was 3 different projects. One included replacing the front porch, replacing some basement and front doors.
Okay. What did you charge him with?
It's not a common charge. The charges are for 3 counts of conversion of payments for real property improvement.
Okay. All right. So you were probably aware then that he's had trouble elsewhere.
Yes, the victim actually told me the reason why he decided to make a police report because he saw in the news in Sonoya that Mr. Nathan had a bunch of pending charges for what is relatively the same crime.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I couldn't afford to lose 16 grand, not on a construction project especially. The work never gets done. You know, it's usually a safe bet when you hire the same guy to come back to your house and take on your project, whatever it might be. In this case, sounds like it was some doors and some decking and things like that. Usually a safe bet to invite that company back to do more work. Apparently it didn't turn out to be the case for this guy. Nathan Givedin, again arrested here in neighboring Fayette County after that investigation, original investigation involving Sonoy police in Coweta County.
Got it. Okay, Doug. You know, it is wild because anyone who has been defrauded, if you will, can relate to that sinking, heartsick feeling of, am I going to lose my money? And especially when it comes to your house. I mean, this is a place where you live, you're trying to get things fixed up, you trust someone to do the work. And the fact that it could be someone, like you said, that you've used previously, and you think that they might do a good job by coming back again, it's too bad. So I know police are investigating, and hopefully there could be some restitution or something that these people can get back. I understand that may not be the case, but it's a tough situation.
It really is heartbreaking. You know, for a lot of people, they save up for these projects, right? And so you have this pool of money that you're sitting on. You've worked hard, you set it aside or whatever. A lot of people don't get home improvement loans. They do what they can with the funds that they have. And so when those funds are taken from you and the work doesn't get done, that's a tough break.
Well, Doug, thanks for your reporting. I know we'll see you again later this evening as you continue to stay on top of this for us. So, Doug Evans, thank you so much. As we continue along, guys, let's talk about some new housing units that are opening in College Park. If you're looking for a place to live, this could work for you and your family. Our Maria Guzman joins us live after there was a ceremony earlier today. Maria, tell me a little bit about these affordable housing units and how they're set to help the community.
Hey Ariel, yeah, it's affordable housing, but it's also for workforce housing. So that means that the income rent here is based on your income. So for example, if I were to live here, I will pay rent based on my income. So it's going to be serving a lot of working families, seniors, but also young professionals. And the location here, we're just 5 minutes away from the airport. So that means a lot of TSA employees or anyone who works in the airport is going to live here. Now, I did speak with the executive director of the housing authority here of College Park. She told me about the big need that this is going to serve, but also about just how much development and growth is happening around this area. I mean, in this location, we're close to the airport, and also we're very close to a fire station, a police station, new restaurants. So she spoke all about that. So let's go ahead and take a listen.
There are 3 levels of income qualifications. So you assist your low income, your very low income, and your median income families. It's budget friendly, and you can actually thrive and have something nice. You don't have to compromise your comfortableness with, you know, trying to weigh out your income with having a safe place to live. We're closest to one of the busiest airports, so you want to have areas where your workforce is available, where you're at home and you can get to the airport. Many jobs are there available for families. Your schools in the areas, transportation, so it's a full rounded area. This area used to be only trees. A year ago it was red dirt. And to think in just under a year we've accomplished this is very exciting, is very inspirational. Yeah. And we want to continue to assist families as much as we can. Affordable housing is needed in College Park. The infrastructure is horrible where we used to have assisted housing, so we're moving more to doing developments and redevelopments so families have a safe, stable, sustainable place to live. College Park has experienced a huge transformation. This part of College Park, this corridor, did not have like the best connotation to go with it. So this is one of development that's going to change the face of this area. Godby Road is going to be, when you say the name, it's going to have a different resonance with you. It lets me know that other things can be done, and it does not have to be the stereotype where you have less than. You can live just like everyone else and have the great amenities. You can have a pool, and it also gives you the want to be more self-sufficient and move on to home ownership, because if you have somewhere that it feels like you can take care of this and you can grow, then that encourages you to do more.
And actually, there's already people who are living here and calling this area home. It's about 25% occupied, and they tell me that that they already have leased about 70%. And I've been here all morning and afternoon, and I've seen just several people that are coming in here asking for tours and filling up those applications. Ariel.
Maria, really exciting for the community. Nice to hear from the organizer and the administrator about how she hopes it's going to change the face of the neighborhood. So we will see you again here at 3 o'clock as you continue to cover this. So thanks so much for being with us. As we continue along here at 2, you guys, straight ahead, we're going to check in about some bicyclists riding here across Georgia in an annual tour. And then we're going to get to a skilled trades workforce conference and what it means for laborers here in Georgia. That's coming up. Welcome back in, everyone. Some cyclists are enjoying this lovely weather we've been having, and they are taking their annual bicycle tour here across Georgia. Today, they're stopping in the town at Trilith, so let's get out to our Eli Jordan. Eli, couldn't be a better day for a bike ride.
It's a wonderful day out of here. We got a nice, no humidity, nice breeze, and weather's beautiful. We got blue skies, and it's their 46th annual Bragg bicycle ride across Georgia, and they've come in here to Fayetteville, the town at Trilith, and Trilith Studios, and they got a little shopping center here and living quarters. You can see he's got some weird living quarters over there, camping, indoor camping. But Bragg benefits the Dream Team, and I got a couple Dream Team veterans here. I'm here with Christian and Kyle. Hey guys, how's it going?
Great. Good evening. How you doing?
Doing good, doing good. I'm going to unmute your mic here real quick. There we go. I think I got it unmuted. No, there we go. All right, so you guys have been part of this ride. You guys didn't ride before being on the Dream Team. Dream Team, I guess, helps out the youth and high schoolers and stuff discover bicycle riding.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you guys have been doing this for a couple years now. What do you think so far?
It's pretty chill. Good way to get out, explore the trails, get out and ride the bikes, and then also being in there like a community and a family, learning new environmental skills and stuff like that.
Yes, sir. It helped me build discipline. I love the Dream Team. They gave me a bike the last summer. I did the bike ride across Georgia, finished all 400 miles, and they got me a brand new bike. So
that's
that was
the deal.
great.
Yeah, I mean, if you're on the Dream Team and you complete all the mileage, you get to keep the gear.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. And that's pretty cool. I mean, the shirts, the bike, and the helmets, and all that good stuff, right?
Yes, sir.
So you guys are veterans, so you guys are leaders of the Dream Team now a little bit.
Yes, sir.
What's it like riding with the newbies, the greenhorns?
I mean, it's very cool at first because they think that they can just push themselves like, hey, I know what I'm doing, when in reality it's like, hey, you got to take it 1 mile at a time, one hill at a time. And it's cool to show our thoughts and our process of what we do in a week. That way, when we're not here next year and they can use their thought process and something else to help the another generation.
It sounds like you're laying some groundwork for some good life skills in general.
Yes, sir.
I mean, what's it like to kind of, just seeing how it has impacted your life, and then you're able to share that with, younger kids? And what's it like to be able to be, like, I guess, a role model?
It's been great. I love being a role model. I'm an uncle of 2 kids, so I love inspiring the youth. We have a kid named Hasim. We love to go fishing in all the towns we have been going into. So it's just great. It's just great to be an older brother. Yeah, all over.
And so tell me, I mean, you mentioned the town. This is also a good way for you guys to check out all of Georgia, right? What's that like?
Yes, sir. It's great, especially going to, I think it was Monday, we went to Rome, sleeping out next to the Rome Timberwolves in their football field. It's an amazing place, like their downtown barbecue spot, their shopping mall. It's just an amazing place, an amazing adventure to go to.
Awesome. Well, you guys, Christian, Kyle.
Yes, sir.
Part of the Dream Team, veterans of the Dream Team
veterans.
Now.
Yes,
the youth outreach to get the kids into cycling, and they got their camp out here. You can see that a lot of people, they're just camping all over the grounds here at town at Trilith area, and it's really cool. There's a lot of people coming in all day and kind of, coming in winded, but they can come out here, get a shower, use the restroom, freshen up, and that's what Kyle and Christian are going to be doing shortly. They freshen up and go hang out with all the other cyclists, and then they'll be back on the road tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
Ariel, I'll kick it back to you.
All right, Eli, seems like a great way to spend a day. Thanks for bringing this to our attention, and we'll see you again here upcoming at 3 o'clock. But guys, there's something else I'd like to bring to your attention, and that is an incredible skilled trades workforce coming together for Skills USA here this afternoon. Chris Rosenthal joins us live from the Georgia World Congress Center. And Chris, I understand this is close to 20,000 people here, and it looks, I see very visual, some houses, it looks like, being built behind you.
Yeah, absolutely. About 19, almost 20,000 people showing up all week for these Skills USA competitions here at the Georgia World Congress Center. If you've been down here, you know it is a really big, massive building. They have all 3 halls that they are using. I'm actually on an elevated platform here. It's part of the roofing section here. But yeah, you can see right here, these students, they're actually over here building essentially tiny homes. They've been building them. They just have a few days to do it. You have carpentry, you have plumbing, electrical, roofing, all the disciplines there. We've got sheet metal. We've got the roofing students down there competing in competitions. About 115 competitions, 7,000 students competing this week in these competitions from across the country. This is a national competition, and next step is the world competition, which will be in Shanghai in September. Of course, you know, this folds into skilled trades. We talk about the skilled trades shortage of labor and what incredible opportunities there are for these students going into these jobs that are in many ways AI proof and very good paying and very big high demand. A lot of these industries, people are retiring from them, and there's not enough people to fill them. Welding, I was talking with some of the welding folks earlier today, and they were echoing that sentiment exactly. But I'd be remiss not to talk to students. I talked to one of the students earlier today, one of the roofing competitors. They're a little bit busy, so I got him on tape a little earlier. So let's take a listen to him and talk about his backstory.
So since the freshman year of my high school, I was in construction class, and I always heard about Skills USA, and some of my friends were in Skills USA. And then finally my junior year of high school, commercial roofing was open, so I said, why not? I'll give it a try. It's something new. And then, yeah, I just got involved into commercial roofing pretty much.
Awesome. And tell me what you're doing here today as part of this competition.
I'm installing pretty much a commercial roof, the TPO membrane. Pretty much like simulating like a big roof, like on an actual commercial building.
And tell me, I mean, what do you get out of this? What do you get out of this process here? Do you think it kind of helps you for a career ahead?
Yeah, I'd say it builds my professional life, I guess, and it also, I don't know, I feel like it's just a good experience to have in the professional world, and like getting to meet new people and like a lot of companies and stuff.
Yeah, you know, it's a skilled trade here. You know, how important do you think these skilled trades are to learn?
I feel like they're very important because like I feel like the shortage and like everybody wants to do something different, like I guess more college or I guess, yeah.
They want to do things that are more academic.
Yeah, more academic.
And this is a good future in this, I see.
Yeah, I'd say it's like good to have like hands-on skills, and like jobs that are more hands-on are pretty good. They're fun and good.
Of course, students getting to see new technology. This is some new technology here for the roofing industry here for these competitors. So, yeah, they'll be here. Tomorrow is the last day. They'll be crowning some of the winners of the competitions here at the Georgia World Congress Center. Back to you.
This is really cool, Chris. I love to see all of the students, the hard work, and the fact that this is the future. We need more skilled laborers, and so it's amazing to see them put their noggins to use. And of course, looks like they're putting maybe some tape down, and this is cool. We're going to see it again at 3, I know, but I really appreciate you bringing this to our attention. So Chris Rosenthal, thank you. We will see you again here upcoming at 3. I'm going to bounce out here really quick, and Tom, tell us what we're looking at for 3.
That looked like a movie set, by the way.
Pretty great.
That was pretty cool. We got a crazy story right off the top at 3 o'clock. A woman's driving her BMW. She says that a scooter comes out of nowhere, hits her. She gets really upset, calls in the police, and she says anyway, the police didn't even chase down that scooter to find out who hit her. So she's really upset tonight. We got a big drama going on between this woman and APD. Our Angelique Proctor on top of that story, plus a ton more coming up here, Ariel, in the 3 p.m. streaming hour. So
all right.
Got a lot to get to. Sure.
Tom, thanks so much. Thank you guys so much for streaming with us. I'm Ariel Onstadt. More to come at 3.
afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the 3 p.m. streaming hour here on Fox Local. On this Thursday afternoon, I'm Tom Haynes, live in the Fox 5 Atlanta newsroom, with you here for the next hour to get you caught up on all the news making headlines today. We're talking about a driver in Atlanta who is pretty upset this afternoon. She says she's driving along in her BMW, according to this woman. Out of nowhere, a scooter comes by, crashes into her car, causes all kinds of damage, and she wants to know why Atlanta police didn't chase the suspected scooter down. Let's get out to Angelique Proctor with the drama, Angelique, between this woman and Atlanta police and the guy that took off on his scooter.
Well, good afternoon to you, Tom. Actually, that scooter driver was a female. And if you drive in town in Atlanta, you have seen them everywhere. In fact, if you look behind me, there are a couple of scooters right here. They're all up and down the street. We're on 15th Street, not far from the High Museum. And this is actually where this lady says this accident happened. Now, her name is Kim Lydell. She works in Midtown and was leaving work last week to head home. She says she pulled out of the garage like she always does to hit 15th Street, started driving for a few feet, and out of nowhere, this scooter just T-boned her. She said she was really shocked at what happened. Take a listen to her response.
So I was on the street on 15th Street, headed eastbound, and a scooter just plowed into me and T-boned me.
Did you see the scooters coming?
No, not at all. Just happened out of the blue.
What did you think?
I was shocked and immediately stopped the car, got out of the car, and she was on the ground. She ended up being okay.
So she being the scooter rider?
Correct.
And Kim says the unusual thing about this accident was that an APD officer was watching the whole thing. He just happened to have been working on this street at the time. And she says that what surprised her the most is that the officer didn't jump out of his vehicle and try to help right away. Take a listen.
APD was stopped in the lane here, parked, and he had a clear view of the scooter. Told me to move my car to avoid traffic, to let traffic flow through. I moved my car, and then I came up to him and said, "Did you see that? You had a clear view of it." And he said, "Can't help, call 911, you're gonna need to file a police report," and left. But more concerning just civilly is you didn't check on the girl while she was on the ground, and you just witnessed this. That was more disturbing. And she took off on foot. So I don't have the name of the person that was riding the scooter to be accountable or anything. They said scooters are a problem in Atlanta. And I understand they have more important things to do, but it's just kind of an epidemic.
Well, of course, we reached out to Atlanta police. They tell me they are, in fact, investigating and that they are looking for the scooter driver. But more importantly, they say that first officer that apparently witnessed the whole thing, well, he was working a second job. And they say by right, he can't leave that job to respond to anything else that's going on. But Kim says that she believes just out of sheer decency, he should have at least gotten out of his car. Apparently, he never even got out of the car, started talking on his loudspeaker to her, and she wasn't very pleased with that. In fact, she ended up with $6,000 worth of damage to her car. She has to get both of her doors replaced. She says this is a whole lot of headache. Nobody's being held accountable. The scooter driver walked off because they waited for a second officer to come to the scene since the first officer was working a side job. And so by the time she says the second officer got there, the scooter rider had already taken off. So she says she's really frustrated, and what she'd really like to see is more accountability for all of these scooter riders all over Atlanta. And police told her, yeah, they're a big headache for us too. We're seeing more and more problems with scooters. And of course, as the World Cup moves in, a lot of people might end up taking scooters. I understand a lot of the Ubers can't go exactly close up to the stadium. So this might very well be an issue in weeks to come. Tom.
It's hard to conceive. I'm just listening to your kind of blow-by-blow of what happened here. How a scooter caused $6,000 of damage. I mean, that sounds like a major accident. But there's so many things at play here. Was this scooter in the officer's jurisdiction? As you said, the officer might have been off duty at the time. It really wasn't his case to adjudicate. It might have been traffic police that needed to step in, and that was why he told her to call the police. And as that woman said in her own words, maybe they saw kind of nobody was injured. The scooter rider got up and took off, and they had more important things to do. So I guess this woman's only remaining next step is to reach out to her insurance company, tell them what happened, and hope that she has some kind of no-fault plan in place to fix her car.
Well, that is the good news, Tom. She does have no-fault insurance, and so she will get her car repaired. But she said it's just the principle of the thing. She believes if an Atlanta police officer witnesses something, they should at least respond to it. And she's still wondering, why aren't all of these scooters being regulated somehow? She says this scooter just came out of nowhere, was going extremely fast. There were actually 2 scooters. Only one hit her car, but she said her real concern is if she hit it just a few seconds earlier, and that scooter driver could have actually been injured. So these things can turn into something a lot more serious, and that's why she says there needs to be some kind of regulation.
And to her credit, she was looking out for the scooter rider as well, hoping that she was okay. Angelique Proctor, we'll see how this pans out. Angelique, thanks so much from downtown Atlanta. I want to talk about the Trump administration's investigation into MARTA. So much has been happening on MARTA, the fatal stabbing of that poor elderly woman on board the train through no fault of her own. We spoke to a CIA analyst here during the 3 p.m. streaming hour yesterday on ways to protect yourself and how to stay more vigilant on public transportation in the lead up to FIFA World Cup. Well, now the federal government is demanding answers from Metro Atlanta transit leaders following 2 horrific daylight stabbings on MARTA property. U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy ordered an immediate investigation into systems security spending and passenger safety protocols. Not welcome attention if you're MARTA headed into the FIFA World Cup to have the eyes of the federal government on you. But that's what the administration feels is necessary given the violence that has broken out on board these trains. Federal officials say MARTA's crime rate on rail lines is 3.5 times higher than the national average. The FTA is giving transit officials exactly 15 days to hand over detailed action plans and financial logs. In a statement, MARTA says safety is their #1 priority, and they welcome the opportunity to share their investments with the feds. But you got to think that MARTA riders welcome this attention by federal authorities to make MARTA a safer mode of transportation. An Atlanta travel corridor shutting down completely once again this weekend, and officials are warning drivers to brace themselves for widespread gridlock. Starting on Friday night, crews will close all north and southbound lanes of Interstate 285 on the west side between MLK Jr. Drive and Cascade Road. The total shutdown begins at 7 p.m. Friday and will run until 5 a.m. Monday so that workers can safely repair and replace aging concrete slabs and infrastructure. So you'll have to find other ways around that area if you happen to take that section of 285 over the weekend. Detours will route southbound traffic to I-20 and the downtown connector, while northbound drivers will be diverted to Langford Parkway. Expect heavy delays Metro Atlanta wide, and it is highly recommended to use navigation apps or seek alternate routes all weekend long. Well, a newly released arrest warrant reveals explicit details surrounding a former Roswell High School employee accused of engaging in a secret relationship with a 16-year-old student. Police arrested 55-year-old Amanda Katz on Tuesday following a referral from state child welfare officials. Investigators recovered nearly 20,000 text messages between Katz and the teenager sent over a 3-month period. The warrant affidavit states that the text detailed multiple encounters at her home and vehicle, plans for a future get-together, and repeated fears of going to jail. The secret relationship came to light after family members discovered communications during a Valentine's Day weekend trip to Helen. Katz resigned from her position while the investigation is underway and has since been released on a $25,000 bond. Well, now to Clayton County, where one neighborhood is downright upset by the trash situation there. They say that their neighborhood is being overrun by garbage, and frustrated residents say that they cannot get any answers from the county. Let's get out to Fox 5's Kevin Stewart, who joins us live from that neighborhood. Kevin, what are neighbors telling you this afternoon?
No, you said it right. They're frustrated. This is the Reserve at Lake Ridge, part of the larger Villages neighborhood here in the community of in Clayton County. I want to show you something because, you know, live television, and fortunately we can show you something live that's going on right now. You have crews working to clean this up right here. We're told that this is not just stuff that's been dumped out here by people in this particular subdivision, but people illegally dumping in here, and it's become a big problem because this is a long-running problem. There's a trash compactor back here. That's what they're trying to clean up back there. It's been broken several times over the years. Just recently they got a new one, and because they say that stuff has been dumped in here illegally, stuff that doesn't belong in here, like sofas, is broken again. And now you've got stuff all over spilling out into the street here. And that's got a lot of people upset. And this all coincides with a battle that's going on in this subdivision with the HOA. They're saying that there's not a lot of good communication going on here. We talked to several people in the community about what's going on here. Take a listen.
I mean, it's ridiculous. It's bringing down the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? It's terrible. It is. It is really, really terrible. This is very frustrating. I've been in here since the beginning, 24 years. And this has just become a large problem, especially because our president is not communicating with us.
It's because of the wood. If it didn't have the wood, we wouldn't have this problem. I came here yesterday, cleared it with some other dude. We were able to clear inside. We took a break, and now I'm here continuing from there, trying to get, my goal is to get all these bags inside the compactor, and hopefully we can clean this mess.
All right, and you see them working on it right now. I misspoke a moment ago. I said that it's broken again. They actually say this is actually working now. The previous one was broken, and it's just been jammed up because people were putting things that don't belong in there, as you heard, like furniture, which obviously is a problem. But the bigger overall issue in this neighborhood seems to be the fact that they don't believe there's been a lot of good communication with residents and the HOA. And of course, you know, there's been a lot of talk about communication and with HOAs and fines, and of course the state recently passed new legislation that means that HOAs will be regulated by the state, and they'll have to hand over financial statements, and that's something that people in this subdivision say that's not happening regularly. So you got two issues that seem to be coinciding here, and folks are red hot about this, and we'll get a little more into this coming up at 5 o'clock. Tom?
Kevin, first of all, nobody, and I mean nobody, deserves to be living around a disaster like that. One person on TikTok saying that it looks like a third world country. So I'm curious, is this is this private property? In other words, I might have missed what you said, and you probably outlined it in your reporting, but is this an HOA situation where they're not servicing that particular trash area, or is it a county situation?
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, let's get into that, because it does get kind of mixed up in there. Okay, what you do, you have a trash compactor here. It is owned by a particular garbage company. I think it's West Pro. I believe. Excuse me if I forget the name, but it is owned by a particular company, and they are the new owners of that, and it is up to the community to pay the HOA dues to get all this stuff serviced out here. And what is happening here is that people are putting items in here that do not belong in there, and so it's jammed up, and people keep coming in, and it spills out of the compactor, and more people put their items, their trash out here, and it spills out into the streetway of this subdivision. And people have been frustrated by this for multiple years because it seems to be a long-running problem here, their report. And this trash, they say, has been here for about 2 weeks after getting the new compactor. That's according to the gentleman that you saw who is over the trash. You see him back there working on this, and he says he's frustrated by it, and there's definitely a lot of back and forth with residents because of this issue, and because of the issues with the HOA, they seem to all collide. A lot of frustration here for certain.
Well, Kevin, you got to give it to the guys behind you for at least, trying to mitigate the situation and move some of that trash out. But hopefully this will get expedited and that trash will get out of there, and your reporting will sort of shine a light on what's happening in that neighborhood. Kevin Stewart, live for us this afternoon here on the stream. Kevin, thanks so much. The Trump administration is increasingly concerned about Ebola and maybe shifting its position on the Ebola crisis in Africa, with confirmed cases now surpassing 340 in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Secretary of State Marco Rubio now says that Americans who test positive at a facility in Kenya could be brought to the United States for treatment. This comes amid deadly protest and a Kenyan court decision blocking the 50-bed unit over cross-border infection risk. Still, military fighting is continuing to carry equipment into Kenya, with Democrats on Capitol Hill warning that the facility could unintentionally fuel an outbreak in a country that has never seen a case of Ebola like the United States. Moving on now to Homeland Security Secretary Mark Wayne Mullen testifying on Capitol Hill that he is increasing ICE officers and a new training facility beginning next month following criticism that the agency was loosening some of its standards. Mullen saying that that's going to tighten up now. The Homeland Security Secretary making the announcement at a heated congressional hearing. When asked about the department's plans to change the training requirements for new recruits from 42 days to 72 days to sharpen some of that training. Mullen did not address criticism of the training schedule or comment on why it was being changed at this particular moment. But Immigration and Customs Enforcement officials have had to revamp the training part of its efforts to swiftly hire and train additional operations officers starting all the way back from last year. Remember, Mullen took over this agency from Kristi Noem, who, according to the Trump administration, was fired for one reason or another. But Mullen's trying to go in there and clean things up and consolidate efforts to train these agents. The agency had about 6,500 officers at the time Mullen stepped in. Earlier this year, former ICE lawyers responsible for training new officers said the agency's program for recent recruits was, quote, deficient, defective, and broken. So the Homeland Security Secretary trying to fix all that. News of a U.S.-mediated ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon has raised hope that progress will be made toward a larger deal to end the war with Iran. But less than 24 hours after it was announced, the Lebanon deal's already hitting a major roadblock. Hezbollah is rejecting a U.S.-brokered ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon, another setback for American efforts to end the war in Iran. Iranian leaders say that they won't cut a deal with the U.S. unless Israel stops firing on Hezbollah, its proxy in Lebanon. But Lebanon denies that conversation ever even happened.
I'm excited that it did pass. And people are tired of this. They're tired of $5 a gallon gas and $6 a gallon diesel and fertilizer we can't afford to put on our fields in Kentucky. So I think it sends a good message that the People's House, which represents the people, is tired of this war.
What do you think has changed to make enough Republicans vote with Democrats on this?
Well, we were told this would just be a few weeks, a few days, and now we're in the fourth month of it. And so I think what's changed is more time has passed and people are getting tired of it.
Was there any effort to change Republicans' minds ahead of this vote today? Did you hear from the White House? Did your colleagues hear from the White House?
I don't know.
Didn't?
I don't know if there was any effort. Nobody tries to change my mind anymore on anything, so I don't hear those conversations.
Would you have voted differently had you won your primary?
No, I've been consistent on this. I mean, I was a co-sponsor of this resolution.
Mr. Fitzpatrick, what's your reaction to this War Powers resolution passing, and what was behind your decision to support this here?
I supported it last time. The law is the law. 60 days. That's what the War Powers Act says. So we're past 60 days. As soon as we pass 60 days, I've been supporting it and will continue to do so.
And you've been out front against this weaponization fund of the DOJ. Todd Blanchard.
Can I ask you just about some Republicans are saying that this war powers vote could undermine, peace talks or send the wrong message to Iran? What's your response to that?
We have to follow the law. There's a law in the books. The War Powers Act of '73 says 48-hour notification and 60-day concurrence of Congress. We're past the 60 days. So you have two choices. You either follow the law or you change the law. You can't violate the law. That's not an option. So I offered an alternative that would accommodate ceasefires for negotiations, real ceasefires and not ceasefires in name only. That was not taken up, just like our alternative to the premium tax credits was not taken up, just like our alternative to the Ukraine bill was not taken up. So we're left to go down these other paths.
So those congressmen talking about the War Powers Resolution, that congressman saying that Representative Brian Fitzpatrick from Pennsylvania saying that it's been 60 days. So he is not authorizing this war to continue. He's simply following the law, something President Trump is very unhappy about. Those 4 House Republicans who joined Democrats to pass a war powers resolution aimed at limiting his ability to continue operations in Iran. The president asking in a post, who would do such an unpatriotic thing? Iran's new supreme leader, listening to all this, who's yet to be seen in public, issued a statement Thursday telling his people to stand firm against Israel and the United States. I want to talk about the situation between Russia and Ukraine now, because there are developments. The Middle East isn't the only global hotspot happening right now. The war in Ukraine is heating up once again, with Ukrainian airstrikes pounding Russia while progress remains stalled on the front lines. Russian airstrikes are expanding against Ukraine following a major uptick in Ukrainian strikes on Russia. Most experts now say Moscow is losing on the ground, incurring heavy losses while the front lines remain largely static. And as the war grinds on, Congress is increasingly pushing the White House to give more aid to Ukraine. Listen to the Deputy National Security Advisor and Secretary of State Marco Rubio.
Because of the war in Russia, with Russia, and Ukraine really having nothing much at its disposal, it has, on its own initiative, created an incredible product with drones and anti-drone technology. That's how they've kept the Russians at bay for all of these years. And so they now have a product the world wants, and they're the most advanced technology of drones.
I would also say that how we have viewed it is this war has no military solution. It has to have a negotiated settlement to it, and that's the role we've tried to play, and it's been a difficult role to play because, frankly, we're not an impartial mediator. We sanction Russia, and we are providing and have sold weapons through the Pearl program, which has remained unimpeded, to the Ukrainians.
With its ground advance still stalled, Russia said this week it's pushing ahead with, quote, systematic airstrikes on Ukraine. Still a lot more ground to cover here on this Thursday afternoon in the 3 p.m. streaming hour on Fox Local. When we come back, we're knocking on the door of the weekend, and we've been enjoying some spectacular weather the past really 36 hours. Yesterday, beautiful. First half of today, beautiful. What's the weekend going to hold? There are some changes in store, and meteorologist Lauren Robinson is going to join us with details as we continue. Welcome back to the 3 p.m. streaming hour on Fox Local. Taking a look at our live video coming in from D.C. I want to take you live to the Oval Office right now. This is a gathering of coal executives. President Trump signing an executive order to expedite about $700 million worth of coal to our allies in Asia to power companies and also burn it here domestically to make that process more efficient. I'm assuming this is in light of the fuel situation happening because of the conflict in the Middle East. The president always touting the use of clean burning coal, and he's trying to facilitate making that process a whole lot easier with the environmental and coal folks standing right behind him. Let's dip in and listen in real quick to see if the president is saying anything relevant about that situation.
Gender mutilization surgery for our children. I would say that's pretty close to 99 to 1 also. No men in women's sports, I would say that's pretty good. We had the quarterback, Jackson is the quarterback for the Giants. He's a big, strong guy. And I said, how do you think you do in women's sports, Jackson? He said, pretty good, sir. He didn't know I was joking. He was not worried, let me put it that way. He would have been the greatest athlete in the history of women's sports. You got to see the size of this guy. Like a male model, and he's going to be a great quarterback. So we talk about that. And so we just would like the Senate, Democrats, Republicans to pass it. Interestingly, Democrat people, not crooked politicians, because most of them are crooked, or they're sick, or they're Trump deranged. There is Trump derangement syndrome, but the people, it's 86, 87%. Democrats. I mean, Democrats are fun. I have a lot of Democrat friends, but I don't know, for some reason when they go into politics, they get radical left crazy, and they're trying to destroy our country, but we're not going to let that happen. So today we're taking historic action to bring down the price of energy and the cost of living for all Americans with the power of clean, beautiful coal. If you look at China, if you look at so many of the successful countries, they're using coal. If you look at some of the real great failures countries, they're using wind. This keeps blowing, and puts you right out of business. Very expensive, most expensive energy there is. So wind is not working very well, but they keep it going because people get subsidies by countries that are stupid. Doug, I would say we haven't been long on wind. Do you agree with that? He understands numbers very well. You know, Doug was very, very successful. Believe it or not, I used to think it was in energy, but he was successful in technology, and he sold his company to, I think, Microsoft, right? And for a lot of money, and he ran for politics. He ran for office, went to North Dakota, won immediately, won governor, who was very successful for 8 years. And I watched him during one of the performances of some very talented people. And I said, we're going to get him to work for us. And then I said I was going to put him in charge of energy. And he said, sir, there's a better man than me for that one. Not in all ways you feel that, but in one way. In energy, you know. And that was Chris, right? Yeah. Where's Chris?
Right here.
Right behind you. He's a hard one to find. And Chris is...
All right, President Trump in the Oval Office talking about this clean burning coal executive order that he is there to sign, with environmental and energy officials standing behind him to try to expedite the processing and burning of clean coal, as the president characterizes it, not only here, but with allies in Asia and around the rest of the world. President Trump there, live pictures from the Oval Office this afternoon. Let's shift gears, talk about something closer to home, and that is our weather. Boy, we've enjoyed a couple of just spectacular days out there. Dry conditions after what seemed like forever of rain. A couple of weeks of rainy, hot, humid, muggy weather. Well, things really dried out, and we want them to last for a while. But will they? Here's Lauren Robinson.
Well, we have a beautiful day in store. Yesterday, a tad bit chilly as we maxed out in the 70s, but today we're going to make it into the lower to middle 80s, which is closer to seasonal for this time of year. We have a look at our live Viper radar, and this big H that's sitting across North Georgia, that's high pressure. And what that means is we're going to see sunny, dry conditions prevail, and they're going to stick around over the next few days. That's the good news there. Now, as we take a look at the rest of the day today, we're going to continue to be sunny. We're actually going to be pretty dry out there. Our relative humidity isn't looking too bad. We're going to stay in the 70s through around lunchtime or so, and then after lunch we finally start to climb into the lower to middle 80s for our afternoon highs around 4 or 5 o'clock, and then we're back in the 70s by dinner time. Now, as you take a look at what's in store over the next few days, this high pressure continues to remain dominant across North Georgia. What that means for us is we go through our Friday, we continue to see a lot of sunshine, and the same goes for our Saturday. A great couple of days for those outdoor activities. We move into Sunday though, and this front moves its way closer to North Georgia. We're not expecting anything too widespread on Sunday, but we are looking for some hit or miss, those brief showers, maybe a pop-up storm that we're used to this time of year. That returns to our forecast on Sunday. Now, as we're speaking about showers, our latest drought monitor was released today. It's released every Thursday, but stops collecting data on Tuesday so that they can have a couple of days to compile everything. But the good news is this exceptional level of drought, that's going to be our highest level, has basically been eradicated from the state with all of that rain that we've gotten. You can see just a little tiny piece in far south central Georgia. The rest of the state has seen improvements as well. So that same goes for us here in North Georgia, where we did have a good amount of this extreme level. The red, that has gotten smaller. So really what we're monitoring is severe and moderate levels of drought, which are levels 2 and 3 out of 5. So our drought conditions have continued to get better and better. And what's really noteworthy is going to be severe and extreme levels. Both of these have decreased by nearly half. So we've had big drops in the severe and extreme level, and then our exceptional level almost completely out of the state. So that is great news with all of the rain that we've gotten. And with the rainfall, we're going to backtrack a little bit for our drought monitor over the next few days, but we get to enjoy some sunny, dry conditions. We deserve it after all of the rain we sat through. Now, we're going to have those temperatures in the lower to middle 80s today, tomorrow, and then again on Saturday. But as we push into next week, that's when we start to see the weather change again. By Sunday, we're looking for maybe a brief pop-up shower here and there. You'll spend most of the day dry, but you do want to watch for a pop-up storm. Those temperatures in the middle 80s, right around where we should be this time of year. As we move into the next work week, we'll see those shower and storm chances increase by Monday and Tuesday, and those temperatures will fall just a tad into the lower 80s.
All right, Lauren, sounds great. Thanks so much. When we come back, there's liquor stores everywhere, seemingly on every corner. Well, a group of DeKalb County residents says enough is enough, and they're protesting the process of yet another liquor store. Our Eric Perry is going to join us live after the break with details on that. Don't want to miss it. Hey everybody, welcome back to the 3 p.m. streaming hour here on Fox Local. I'm your host, Tom Haines, live in the Fox 5 Atlanta newsroom. Appreciate you streaming with us on our free Fox Local mobile app on your mobile device, or if you're on any of our social media sites at Fox 5 Atlanta. Certainly glad you're here too, and enjoy reading your comments about the stories we're covering this afternoon. Or if you're on the radio, 107.9 HD2 FM, glad you're listening to us today. Let's get out to DeKalb County, where folks are upset at the prospect of a new liquor store going up. Seems there's a ton of liquor stores around. Well, residents in this area say no mas. Let's get out to Eric Perry, standing by live near the site of where this all might happen. Eric?
Yeah, so keep in mind, Tom, that they're protesting because they say that there are about 22 liquor stores within a 4-mile radius. So this right here is a community council meeting. This is really at the intersection of Covington Highway and South Harrison Road. And this is the building that they believe will be turned, or they're trying to stop it from being turned. It's an old Walgreens store that is planned to be turned into a liquor store here. So they're really fighting against that taking place here. So really, we came out here, we saw this as a story that I saw online there. A lot of people fired up about it here. My photog, Zorn, went around to several different liquor stores here in the area, just showing just how many different places there are. But there's a community of over 1,600 homes that's nearby. It's the Hidden Hills community. There's another South Harrison community that's here. But also you have the local churches and also community activists that are all joining in, saying that really enough is enough. They're wanting to come together and stop this from moving forward. Take a listen.
Enough is enough. You know, we're saturated. We're oversaturated with liquor stores. 22 liquor stores in a 4-mile radius. That's more than enough. We need other things here.
I would much rather see, as I said, more libraries, more community centers, more food banks, different things like that that will address the issues in the community. We have a lot of homelessness. The people that own these commercial properties, they're not residents of our neighborhood. They don't know what this neighborhood is going through or whether they care.
All right, so there's still several steps that have to be taken before it is finalized. Back out here live, you're taking a look. There's a community council meeting that they're inviting people to. It's held virtually via Zoom. It is June 8th at 6:30, so they're inviting people to come out, voice their concerns about this. There's also an online petition as well here. There's a QR code. We'll put more information on our website. So far, just about 550 signatures. Their goal is 1,000. And then this weekend, this Saturday from 3 to 6, they're going to have a protest here in this area at this parking lot. They're going to have some food trucks, and they're really inviting the community to come out here and voice their opposition to all of this. And Tom, as I wrap up, they say they have had conversations not just with county commissioners for this area, but also with the proposed landlord or the developers here that have bought this property. And so the landlord or the developers, they say, was willing to listen, but at the end of the day, they're still wanting to move forward with that liquor store, which is just not in alignment with a lot of the people that we talked with today. And we interviewed about 3 people on camera, but probably close to 7 to 10 people showed up just in support of this alone, and there were so many more people that wanted to come out. So this is really a talker here, Tom, in this little small community in DeKalb County.
Yeah, it's a talker online too. One person saying that no more liquor stores, they cause problems. Whether that's true, I don't know. But obviously these people aren't opening a liquor store just for the fun of it. It's a supply and demand type situation. Everybody's in the business to make money. So if a new business deems that there is demand in that area, then there's demand in the area. Now the question is, Eric, how do you reconcile sort of the legitimate concerns of folks who live in that area and are concerned about yet another liquor store opening in their area? And then what are like the zoning requirements there in that part of DeKalb County? In other words, I guess all of that comes together for authorities in DeKalb County to either authorize or not this proposed liquor store.
Yeah, it's one of those things too. One of the interviews we talked with said there's so many liquor stores in this area because a lot of the community they're just not knowing about those zoning. So if someone comes in and zones or something like that, the community might just not know about it. So it's able to slip through the cracks where they're saying no to this particular one. And, you know, they're not against the business. They understand the aspect of making money. They understand. And so they're not upset per se with this developer. They just think that there's better use, particularly for this particular quadrant here in this area.
All right, fair enough. And we'll see how it all pans out there. Eric Perry, live for us in DeKalb County this afternoon. Eric, thanks so much. Turning now to a new affordable housing community officially open. From DeKalb County, we go to Fulton County now. Fulton County officials offering 180 units to local families for an affordable housing community environment. Let's get out to Maria Guzman, who joins us now live. Maria, you're in College Park. Tell us what's happening there.
Hey Tom, yes, I'm here in College Park, and this building is actually located on Godby Road, and so it's 180 units, 6 buildings. I'm right here in front of one of those buildings, and this type of housing are for people who are in the workforce, right? So that can mean airport employees. We're just 5 minutes away from the airport, but it's all based on rent. So if I were to live here, I'm going to be paying rent based on my income. So they're trying to serve and help a lot of working families, seniors, or even young professionals. So I spoke with leaders who tell me that this building and the opening of this building is truly like a catalyst here in College Park, because there's going to be just several new developments and just transformation happening here. So let's go ahead and take a listen.
There is a huge transformation that is happening here on the Godby Road corridor, the Old National Godby Road corridor to be specific. And so now we have this new development in Blue Sky Landing, which we have 181 beautiful new homes, affordable homes, for those who are seeking to find something affordable. Yeah, so I think that affordable housing is an issue, not just in the city of College Park, but in Metro Atlanta, in Metro Atlanta proper. And so we are doing our part here in the city of College Park by partnering with those developers who seek to build beautiful, sustainable, well-designed homes for individuals who need affordable housing. It's not just about the walls, right? It's not just about the buildings, but it's about the lives that will be impacted by affordable housing. Affordable housing gives people the opportunity to think more about what they are doing opposed to having to meet rent, right? So that means that they don't have to worry about whether or not if they can make it to their child's school. They don't have to worry about whether or not if they can afford to pay for those auxiliary services or enrichment activities for their children. Senior citizens don't have to worry about whether or not if they need to pay for their medicine or food, because they are in a place that's going to help support whatever their economic status is. Actually, a year from now, this particular corridor, Godby Road, Old National Corridor, will not be what it is today. You're going to see things by way of new, not just affordable housing, but also home ownership, small townhomes, condos. We're going to see safe crosswalks on Godby Road. We'll also see a brand new city park, about 7 acres with some amenities, a new extension center for senior services. We also have a new dog park coming to this area as well. So I am really excited about the progress that we're making specifically here, but the impact that it's going to have on the entire city and this part of the region.
Sure. Blue Ridge Cascade is a national developer of senior and workforce affordable housing. We care a lot about the finishes and the quality of the apartments that we build, and we want to have residents that love living here and stay for a long time, and we hope that helps revitalize the area as people move in, that more retail opportunities come in, and just the city continues to invest. They mentioned there's a new 6-7 acre park coming in just a couple blocks away, and I mean it's just great great to see this as one of the catalysts to continue improving this neighborhood. We started leasing in March, and we already 70% leased. We have a wait list, especially on the lower level income units, but we've also seen a huge amount of demand at the 70% of the area median income units from people who work at the airport. And so I think just at all levels of affordability, there is incredible demand for high quality housing. So we're happy to help be a part of that.
Yeah, and as you can see, just one of the amenities here is a pool, and that's because although it's affordable living, they still want people to enjoy their area, their home, and still enjoy the nice quality, Tom.
Yeah, affordability and enjoyment and beautiful surroundings like you're in now can all go hand in hand for sure. Maria Guzman, nice to see that is available to those who may need it. Maria in Fulton County for us this afternoon. Maria, thanks, on the south side of the city. When we come back, a lot more still to come here on Fox Local. More than 500 cyclists rolling into town. We're going to tell you why when we come back. I want to take you to Trilith now, where they are about to be confronted with 1,200 bikers. This is going to be quite an event. Looks like Eli Jordan is standing in what appears, Eli, to be like a tent city there in Trilith behind you.
Yep. Yep, this is like, imagine Burning Man, except bicycling man. And that's what's happening here. I'm at Tent City. There's 1,200 bikers here, around 1,200, not exactly, but Bragg. Bicycle ride across Georgia, and they left Carrollton this morning and rode about 58 miles. And what's really cool about this is, you get a crew together and you ride with them, and you do this, and you can do it year after year after year. This is 46th year of the Bragg Tour, and it's the second oldest state tour in the country. But right now I am with Bob Knoll and his crew, the Chattahooligans. Hey, Chattahooligans, how's it going? All right, Chattahooligans. Hey, Bob, so this is your 15th year?
15th year.
And so tell me, why do you like Bragg so much? Why are you doing it year after year?
Bragg is by far my favorite week of the year. Where else can you go for 7 days and live in the moment? All you got to worry about is wake up in the morning, get on your bike, pack up your tent, ride to the next town, drink some beer, get up the next morning, ride your bike, keep on going, rinse and repeat for 7 days. You live in the moment for a week.
So this is a tour. I mean, literally, you guys are starting up north, close to Chattanooga, riding all the way down to Columbus. You arrive Saturday. And, I mean, there's no stopping and getting in a car or anything like that.
Negative.
You saw the tents behind me here. I mean, it seems like it's a really good, bonding and time for camaraderie and all that good stuff.
Yeah, so we've created our little family here. We have 25 people on our team this year. Some of them have already gone out to get food. But we've grown over the years. So again, I've been doing this for 15 years, and we've grown from just a few people to now we're up to 25.
So you've been doing this for 15 years. Yep. How did you get started doing it?
Oh God, how did I get started? I learned about it from Sally.
Sally's been doing this. This is her 30th year. Is it kind of daunting when you think about, I'm going to ride across Georgia this week?
Yes, I've had friends that have done it numerous times, and before I did it, it was kind of scary because I can I do it? Can I ride my bike all those miles?
So you woke up this morning, all you guys rode 58 miles this morning. So does that make your beer taste better?
Much better.
And so, tell me, how would you describe this to somebody else? This whole long ride. It makes my legs tired just thinking about it.
Well, the best thing is it's not a race, right? You wake up in the morning, you break down your tent, you get to the next town whenever you can. There's no set time to get there. You just make the miles. You get to the next town, you get your bags, you set up your tent, find food, drink some beer.
And it's a different route each year.
Every year. We've gone Atlanta to Savannah. We've done Augusta to Brunswick. We've done all kind of different routes throughout the state.
Sounds like a really cool way to see the state.
It's a great way to see the state, yeah. And we ride on some really cool back roads. And you see rural Georgia. You see some really cool sights along the way.
Awesome. Well, Bob Knoll, 15 years of doing this. Thank you very much for chatting with me, and congratulations. Getting close to the end of it. They'll end up in Columbus, Tom. That's where they end the ride, and the Chattahooligans are looking forward to the end of the ride, but they're also looking forward to just chilling and relaxing and bonding with each other and just talking about the ride and talking about being on the Fox 5 stream, too.
Chilling. Love.
Get a shout out real quick, guys.
Hey, woo!
Love it. Love the camaraderie, and I love that cocktail hour at 3:53 on a Thursday afternoon out there in Trilith has already started. Eli Jordan. Eli, yeah, it looks awesome. Eli, thanks. Shifting gears now, and before we leave you, we want to take you out to a very cool event. We going to the president? All right, let's take you back to the Oval Office now. Something's going on there where we want to dip in and listen.
The Democrats. When they have a chance to get a job, they can go look to the coal mine. And it's not just digging coal the way we used to. It's high-tech jobs. At this point, we don't mine coal the way we used to at all. It is very, very technologically proficient. And what's more important, it's environmentally sound. I would invite you to come and look at the reclamation that's happened in the Powder River Basin, and we can demonstrate that it's environmentally sound, that actually wildlife populations thrive and do better. Today, Mr. President, I really want to talk to you a little bit about our recent trip to Japan and to Taiwan, both countries that were going to forswear coal. And now they realize that they need that reliable, dispatchable, secure source of energy. But they can't get it as clean as they can from the Powder River Basin. So to be able to open that Oakland port is absolutely essential for the lifeblood of our state and for our coal mines. It is something that we tried to do in your first administration, and we almost got there. We actually were prepared to go through that, belt that we have on the West Coast with California, Oregon, and Washington, and finally enforce the Commerce Clause to allow states like New Mexico, Wyoming, Utah, to have access to that Asian market. And let me just tell you one last thing about that. It's not just about clean, beautiful coal. We have companies like Peabody that are now saying, we believe we can get rare earth minerals and critical minerals from what we're doing. So we are advancing technology, advancing the opportunities and the security of the state, all because of your vision, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mark, very much. Would you like to say something on behalf of West Virginia?
I would. I would like to say, Mr. President, all West Virginians are so deeply grateful to you for your focus on protecting their energy jobs. The coal miners know the incredible importance of why we're here today, and to talk about the potential for new coal-fired power plants, that excites them. And I think West Virginians are really inspired because we're America's energy state. When you think about what's happening on the global scene, where that fight, that international fight with China for information technology supremacy, we believe that your policies are going to allow America to compete and win, and West Virginia is going to supply the coal, the gas, the nuclear to help make that happen. So I'm very excited by everything you're doing, even some of the
live pictures from the Oval Office, the president holding this Oval Office gathering of energy and environmental officials talking about releasing more coal into our energy infrastructure. The president touting the ability of the United States to burn coal cleaner than ever through technology and coal manufacturing plants. So wanted to listen to the tail end of that as it happened, and wanted to thank you for joining us here for the 3 p.m. streaming hour on Fox Local. Don't go anywhere, though. Sit tight. The news continues right here, right now.